evening, everyone, and welcome to Talk Football. It is Monday. It is 21:53. It's our usual Monday slot covering the Premier League's review. Last weekend's games, records are broken, heroes were made. No real shocks to be said, to be honest with you. But there was some good football that was to be watched. Pressure on some managers, a couple of managers under a serious pressure. Frank Lampard and Steven Gerrard. We're going to be discussing them, talking about Liverpool's 9-0 win. Their new joint record, new record for Liverpool. Incredible football to watch. Haaland to the rescue. The hoodoo of Crystal Palace appears to be over. Not without some controversy, though. Not without some controversy. And Arsenal coming back. Still unbeaten. Still won every match. Are they the real deal? Will they be invincible? There's the question. It's being messaged out there, isn't it? So, and also we're going to have after the league, we're going to have a little review of the matches coming up Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So it's a double header. We'll still be here on Wednesday. That will be our review of the matches, and we'll be able to discuss what's happened on Wednesday night, and of course, obviously tomorrow night. So yeah, Jesse, how are you, my mate?
Good, man. Good. Always good. Yep.
Brilliant stuff. Yeah, I'm good too. Yeah, so Jesse, maestro of the PC, will bring everything up for our games, and we'll start from the top. I think we'll start from the top. Southampton versus Man United. This was the Saturday lunchtime kickoff. What did you make of this match? I predicted 2-0 to United, so I was close. I think I was close to getting my idea on this. So what did you make of it from a United point of view?
Scrappy. I kind of saw this coming because the Liverpool result was good. The performance was good, but it was, if you can't get up for Liverpool as a United fan, as a player, then what game are you going to be able to get up for? I'm just going to bring Pat in here while I go ahead and do that.
Yo, Pat.
Yeah, Pat, how you doing? Gotcha. Yeah, no
worries.
Like it was scrappy, but United were resilient. That back four was obviously a lot better than what we had previously. In the first two games, I mentioned to you guys, both on some of Pat's streams, but also on our streams, obviously, Dan, that Ten Hag has made some mistakes up until this point. But I kept saying, I think he might be giving players some rope to hang themselves. And I think
he has to.
And he kind of has to, coming into a new club with dropping the captain. And Scott McTominay still shouldn't be in there, but Casemiro had only trained for like 2 days, I think. Yeah, Pat.
Hey, listen, McTominay benched Casemiro, so let's just get it straight. At the end of the day, he showed him levels. He turned up with 5 UCL medals around his neck, and Big Scott said, "Listen, son, I'll show you how it works over here."
Right, but ultimately, I think that like he did the right thing. I had my criticisms, but that back line is now looking a lot more assured. Alenga's the next one. Well, McTominay needs to go, obviously, but we have Casemiro in there. And we just brought in Anthony. Overall, resilient display. Wasn't a great game. Don't think we performed well, but got the job done. I can't really ask for much more when we've been dropping points left, right, and center. So, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Pat, did you watch the match, mate? Did you get any chance of viewing what you've seen? What did you make of this game?
Yeah, I saw the match. To be honest with you, I think it's a good thing what's happening. But let me say something about McTominay. Scott McTominay seems like a player that goes with the times. So basically what I'm trying to say is every time there's a new manager, right, he seems to work hard, right? He seems to come out working hard. Then he ends up being played. Because obviously, as a manager, if somebody is working very hard, like what Scott does at the beginning when the manager comes in, they'll pick you. But I think managers have to realize that this guy also goes down with the team. If the team starts behaving a certain way, he's first of them that doesn't seem to want to put any passion at all. So I hope Ten Hag doesn't see Scott as the number 2. I'd rather be looking at Fred and doesn't see Scott as the guy who he can depend on, because I don't think he's dependable. Believe it or not, the played teams, yes, he was okay in the Liverpool game, but if you want to scan the player that was losing the ball, it was him. I saw him multiple times making the wrong passes. When he gets the ball in certain areas, he didn't know what to do. So I like the game, man. I like what's happening. And I like the fact that he has the balls to drop Maguire. And if he was smart enough, he could have taken that armband away from Maguire. Maybe he did it purposely, as Jesse said, for a few players to hang themselves. To be honest with you, even though people don't like Wan-Bissaka, I'll still stick him around just in case sometimes you need him in games where you need to defend. Because Dalot has been great, but I don't think he's a better defender than Wan-Bissaka, even though they seem to have opposite ends. The other one can attack, can play the ball well. The other one can defend. But Luke Shaw must never see this lineup again with Maguire. I think if you want another defender to come in, yes, I'd rather bring in Lindelof. I'd rather bring him because I think he's more reliable. But so far, so good, man. You guys are looking good. You guys are playing well. I can't wait to see you against maybe an informed team. Maybe you play Arsenal soon and to see how that's going to go.
The weekend.
Sunday, late kickoff, I think, on Sunday. Yeah.
4:30.
Yep.
Yeah, huge match. Yeah, so I'm gonna give some balance to this one as well. I mean, I'll be honest. My jury is still out with Martinez. He's not. He's a good. He is doing well, but the jury's out with me because he seems to go to ground a lot, and that's generally just showing that at times that things are a little bit of a struggle when it comes to doing certain things. What's going to happen is you're going to get strikers. If a player goes to ground an awful lot, what they'll then find is that they'll start working towards that and trying to cause an issue because of that. If that is his defensive style, he did well up against obviously a team with Che Adams who's in great form, by the way. But they were forcing them. When we looked at the way that the team was set up, 76% of Southampton's attacks came down the right-hand side, which would have been Martinez's and Malasia's side of the pitch. They were targeting him on this occasion.
I mean, that was a mistake, though, wasn't it?
It was a mistake, but what I have to balance it with is that Southampton's a team I'm predicted for relegation, and so's Jesse. We both said that this team is going to be relegated, and I don't see any change. I still feel they're going to be. They weren't capable of converting the amount of chances of the ball that they had because they were having a lot of time with the ball in that match, Southampton, more than I actually expected. But they were incapable of finding a way of obviously making something happen with it. And De Gea came out with some good saves, had a little bit of a shaky moment, but he came through it and got what he needed to do, and that was important. And ultimately, the team worked together. United as a team worked together, defending well, not off the line, but, chance in there, putting players on the line. The kind of stuff that you want to see, the stuff that we didn't see United doing last season, and they were doing it today. Like I say, Arsenal at the weekend is a very big test. But before that, another test, which is Leicester. Leicester away. Is it Leicester away? Isn't it?
Yeah, it's Leicester away. But I want to go back to that. I don't know who has run this agenda. Martinez doesn't go to ground that often. He really doesn't. It's actually probably Varane who goes to ground more often than not. Martinez sometimes goes to ground when he's covering for whoever his fullback is. So whether it's Malacia and we're pushing up high or what it may be, he doesn't go to ground that often. This is a weird thing that pundits are doing right now. They basically spun this whole thing where Martinez is not winning his aerial duels. He's won all of them. I mean, there was one. I think there's one that they say he didn't win where he got his head on the ball and effectively either put him off or won that. And then they're also now saying, well, he goes to ground too often. I want someone to go ahead and pull up the compilation. Someone go do that and show us how often he's going to ground. He doesn't do that. He is aggressive. He's a bit of a pit bull. He's a dog. I like that. I don't think that I think Martinez's height is a weakness. I will say that. But I don't see what people are saying. I think they're just saying what the agenda spun by the media has said over and over and over and over. And there's very little evidence for any of it.
I mean, there was as I say, the one that sticks out to me was within the second half, obviously, when, it was fine. It's no problem if that's his style of play. It's not a criticism if that's his style of play. Aaron Wan-Bissaka went to ground a lot.
Religiously. Yeah.
And that's not good. Genuinely, that indicates that you're a player who hasn't pre-anticipated a situation and you're having to do a tackle, shall we say, and if you get it right all the time, fantastic, because it looks great, doesn't it? But the problem is when you're putting yourself into doing a slide tackle, or you're putting yourself in where you're having to make a tackle, that issue being is just it just gives that opportunity for something to go wrong. That's all it is. It gives an opportunity for something to go wrong, and it's a pre-anticipation. Listen, he's still got a lot of time to bed into this league. He's lucky that he's going to be coming up this next couple of games to give him more time. He's up Leicester, and he's up against Gabriel Jesus at the weekend. Not big physical aerial monsters. But what we are forgetting is he came up against big physical aerial monsters against Brentford, and he did struggle. That's the truth. The whole team struggled.
People say it's fine, but
the whole team struggled.
I just need to see the evidence.
No, but I mean, we will see.
Is that a game he got dunked on?
Comes up against
That's
Haaland,
the one, isn't it?
You know, we'll be able to view it.
Yeah, we just need the evidence in, because everything people.
Wait a minute. Is that the game that he got dunked on? That's the one where he was beaten in the air, like he couldn't do anything. Was
it against Tony?
Was it Tony? Who's that guy? Some guy.
He's only on the actual numbers. He's only been beaten once.
I think that's the one. But fair play to him. I think he's got timing. I saw his timing. But what's gonna happen is, like Jesse, I'm pretty sure he's going to find somebody who loves the physical battle, like Mitrovic. You know, like Mitrovic.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
I know he's gone against Haaland. He's gone against Nunes before, but obviously he was having it. But what I'm thinking is, eventually, you know how even big guys like Konate, what if he goes against Konate? Because Konate went on and Van Dijk with us in the FA Cup, and Diaz is a good height, John Stones is a good height. They didn't do anything. Konate didn't even jump, and all he did is head it. So those are the guys I think maybe he will struggle, because when one is put over, I'm pretty sure he's incredible at heading, because I was surprised in the last game. I was like, my God, this guy is actually winning more aerial duels than Varane, which was impressive. Don't forget those people like Maldini, who have also impressed at a certain height. But I just feel like maybe that's why you have to rotate. Maybe sometimes he's gonna have to try to rotate with Lindelof in case. Because I know Martinez is great, but I'm pretty sure.
I mean, Ten Hag made a mistake playing Martinez against Brentford. It was the truth. It was a mistake. It was an absolute mistake. He should have played Varane and Maguire. He absolutely should have.
I don't think so. I don't think you can ever make a case for playing Maguire.
I think you can up against a team that's going to play two.
Lindelof, to be honest.
Lindelof would be a much better option.
I don't know. I still think having someone of that height in the head and whatever, you'd be able to do it. But listen, that it is what I mean. We'll see over the course of the season, and obviously the whatever will be the long term.
Well done to him, though. Well done to him, man.
Yeah, brilliant. Right, okie dokie. So we'll move on to our next game for the 3:00 matches. We'll go with Chelsea Leicester. Why not? Yeah, Chelsea Leicester. I mean, big pressure on Brendan Rodgers. He is in a submarine of pressure right now, isn't he? At the bottom of the ocean. It's a three-way tie between Brendan Rodgers, Steven Gerrard, and Frank Lampard, and Ralph Hasenhuttl as a fourth, of getting sacked. And I mean, come on. I mean, look at this. They went 10 men down from the first half, and it took Leicester to get an equaliser to be able to get into this game. Like Raheem the Dream, though, Pat. Raheem the Dream getting goals. Who said he couldn't finish?
I'm like, if you ask City fans, like I said the same thing for Jesus and Raheem, they will score, but they will always disappoint you in those moments of where you feel like, don't disappoint me. Raheem will do this. That's the thing. People don't get it. It's not like we were throwing away these two players because they can finish. They can, but oh my God, the moments where you need them like desperately. I know like Chelsea needed somebody here, but I've seen more desperate moments where you're like, my God, we knew it was a nil draw, but Raheem and Jesus were 1v1 with the goalkeeper. And you know what, Raheem, I'm starting to question him. That are you doing things purposely? Because those last days at City, you were freezing, you were stopping in front of goal and waiting for the other player you were looking. Were you doing that purposely because you were angry? Because he said he was fuming, remember? He said he was fuming. That's what he said. He says he was fuming the last days. But fair play to him, he's going to do the job for Chelsea. But it's just that I think Leicester, I'm starting to say it's worse now. It's embarrassing because I thought Leicester were going to win. If it's Leicester, when you go down to 10 men, they pressure you. What has happened to the team? What's going on? And all that
No
team is
belief.
selling, and I hear they're broke. Somebody said they're broke. I was like, wow, they're broke?
I think it's to do with their. I think unfortunately it's to do with their own successes, but led towards their downfall. That's the problem with Leicester. Their recruitment has been dreadful ever since being able to obviously take advantage of winning the league back in 2015. Things from then on in, they kind of carried on. They went to the Champions League, got dunked out of that very, very quickly because they weren't of the standard. It showed that they took advantage of what was an incredibly poor season in the Premier League from everybody. Everyone was dreadful.
To be fair, they made it to the quarterfinals their first season in the Champions League.
Oh, really? So I thought they were knocked out.
But you know what? There's a trade-off, Dan, though. Yeah, they got to the quarterfinals, but they did terribly in the league.
There you go. Yeah, that's what I'm sorry. That's where I'm getting confused. Yeah, they had a terrible league performance that year, wasn't it? And they had the quarterfinals in the Champions League. And yeah, they're a funny old team. Me and Jesse in our Premier League, like when we went through the league, our league previews, and when we obviously discussed Leicester, we were concerned based on the fact that they have a lack of investment, and that generally means that there's an issue at a club. They bought nobody and sold some of their most key players who were available. I mean, Kasper Schmeichel, he was 35 years of age, but he's still a top goalkeeper. Gone. Couldn't keep hold of him. Madness. And who have they got?
Yeah, as well. Yeah.
Danny Ward.
That keeper is suspect. That keeper is very suspect.
He's a Liverpool cast-off. And we don't have great goalkeepers except for Alisson.
Let's be honest, Liverpool, you haven't. It's only these two so far but you guys, when you cast off somebody or somebody you guys used to have funny keepers who used to make so many funny mistakes. But it's disappointing, Jesse. Like, okay, so they even had more possession than Chelsea, and obviously, my God, I don't get it. Like, the players are of quality.
More shots on
Are they
target.
tired of him? Are they tired of the coach? Because this looks like people who are tired of the coach. But that's what's with Leicester. Let's not forget that's the history of Leicester players. It's the same backbone that threw a few coaches under the bus. Remember, it's the same ones. Later on, you find another one comes in and they'll start playing. Because look at that team. You're telling me that team with the Chelsea with 10 men failed to do anything. The thing about it is, if you start pointing out Tielemans wants to leave, I hear he wants to leave. Vardy looks like he's too comfortable. He thinks this
too
is
old.
his own. Yeah, too old and comfortable. Barnes, there's rumors that he's also pushing for a move out. Like, it looks like everybody in that team wants to move out.
Apparently, Samare wasn't happy. He just came last year, and I think he was a midfielder that a lot of teams were looking at. A lot of good teams were looking at.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like if you look at that, I mean, like obviously we just talked about Ward. Of course, he's not good enough, but they had to sell. They had to sell Schmeichel for the reasons that Dan was just mentioning. Their bonus structure is awful, and so they just don't have enough money because they haven't succeeded recently well enough qualifying for Champions League and all that. I mean, Vardy, too old. Barnes, still a good player, definitely their best player, especially
great talent.
Yeah, Samari not happy necessarily. Amarte just lost Fafana. Castagna, overrated. People like him because he is in the Belgian setup, but he's a good player. He's just not what people think.
James Justin's a very good player.
He is a very good player. But yeah, no, you could see this. This is a team that's deteriorating before our very eyes. I mean, there's
Yuri Tielemans doesn't want to be there.
Yeah, it's just one of those where they're in a bad state, and unless they do something this season, they're going to be in an even worse state next season. So
100%. You got a number of players who clearly aren't happy with being at the club. I know Vardy's signed a 2-year contract or whatever it was, an extra 1-year extension onto his contract, which you could see because at the end of the day, he was never getting a transfer anywhere else. He's 35 years of age and he's a striker. He's not going to get another deal in a Premier League club, and probably doesn't want to go into another country. Yuri Tielemans, I mean, I questioned his work ethic last season based on the fact that he was pushing for a move all season. He didn't want to be there, and I don't like that. And the fact that he's still there, the club still haven't sold him. Whether that's because people haven't come in for him, which I don't believe. I'm sure plenty of clubs have inquired about Yuri Tielemans, 100%. But whether or not the actual asking price that Leicester have set for him is too high with a player who's got 1 year left on his contract, Would I be surprised to see him go on deadline day? Not at all. I have genuine belief that I think he will. I think that the phones will be ringing for Yuri Tillemans from a number of clubs. And if the price is right, 25, 28 million, I think he's going 110%. Dennis Pratt, I mean, they're there. I know they've missed James Maddison. I know he's not in the team there. And he is that by far and away their best player. In terms of what he can produce. I mean, last season, 31 goals and assists throughout the season. He was absolutely fantastic in what was a very poor Leicester team. This season, they're in real trouble. They're getting bottom half of the table. I mean, if they carry on in this vein of form, they're going to end up looking at being involved in a relegation fight in the bottom 10, bottom 7 or 8 teams. It's going to be a tough one for them. But Chelsea got
Maybe
the
they'll come
result.
back up and win the league. Maybe
Yeah.
they'll come back up again and win the league.
Yeah, that's it. It'll all go full circle again. They'll get Ranieri and he'll do Mr. Dilly Ding Dilly Dong, and then it'll all be great again. But yeah, Chelsea were. I mean, they got the result that they absolutely needed. I mean, yeah. Look at this: at the rock bottom of the league, 3 losses and a draw, terrible form. I mean, even Everton, who've been playing dreadfully, have got better form. Wolves have not. Wolves' performances are much better than those results, though. Like, that's something that you have to say. Like, Wolves have played really well against Tottenham, didn't get a win. They played really, really well against Newcastle. That was probably by the way it happened, wasn't a good draw. But if you'd asked them at the start of the season, would you have taken a draw against Newcastle? I think they'd have said yes. To be honest with you, I think they would have said yes in that game. Everton, I mean, there's no goal scorers and they can't keep a clean sheet as it stands right now. So that's not great. I mean, Bournemouth, they're dead already, aren't they? Let's get it straight. They're done.
Yeah, we can move on to these as well. But yeah, Leicester's exactly where Brendan Rodgers, if he doesn't get a result this week, forget this weekend, I think that's him finito.
He needs something against you guys, and I can't see it.
100%. Well, he might get it, but I mean, if we bring in the players that we have now, yeah, it's gonna be tough. It might, what I mean. Like, I'm never confident, by the way, against Leicester away. They always raise their game against us, but at the same time, that's even more reason. If they don't get it, they see just one more tick, one more box that we're ticking to say Brendan needs to go. So yeah. Anyways,
yeah, 100%. Right, we'll move on to the next game. We'll quickly run over the Brighton versus Leeds game. We'll just do that one. Yeah. I predicted a 0-0 draw in this one, and it went. I mean, Brighton got the home result, which they usually lack. They don't get many home results in general. They lack goals at home. They seem to do better away from home. They're a strange club, Brighton. They play better when they're the underdog rather than kind of being seen as the favourite. But they got a good result here against Leeds. Jesse Marsh's Leeds United army has finally found a team to stop them after getting a 3-0 win against Chelsea, obviously, last weekend. This weekend, they got themselves a loss against Brighton. I mean, one of those, this doesn't shock me. I think Brighton would probably have looked at Leeds and said, a home game, we should be trying to get a win here. I thought that was pretty decent. So while Jesse's just returned, we'll go on to a big one for Pat, and we'll let you lead the way.
Are you not going to say that Brighton is impressive, one of the teams that's keeping clean sheets, even after they sold one of the best defenders to Newcastle?
That's
Dan Bird.
That's the one thing I was going to say. They have 3 clean sheets out of 4 games.
Besuma is gone. Why Besuma is also gone? Who was the best holding? Yeah,
Cucurella was the problem.
Cucurella's gone. Obviously, what's his face? Basuma's gone. Pascal Gross from nowhere is picking up elite FPL form. Like, why? Who knows?
Scoring goals for a laugh, isn't it?
Graham Potter deserves flowers, because Pep said this is the best English manager I've seen in a while. That's what Pep said that seasons ago. It looks like it's true. This guy is picking up. This guy is good. You can only think, like somebody was saying, imagine they just continue this form. It would be very interesting to see. I would love that. I'd love them to just continue these clean sheets and continue. I just love underdogs. I just love teams that are well coached. I hate teams that just do hoofball like Spurs to be finding their feet I want to see brilliant football, like Brighton, well structured, well coached, like it's amazing. Come on, man! Like every team is struggling with clean sheets, but Brighton seem to have the
Brighton
formula.
seem to have it, don't they? They're doing really well, which is great.
Yeah, welcome back. By the way, man. Yeah, good result at the weekend, man. I believe Blake, you are a Brighton fan, yeah. You've been in the chat quite a few times. Yeah, no, Brian looked good, man. Let's see what happens as you guys had a good result against us. Only real team that you might expect to slip up against. But yeah, you guys look good.
Definitely very, very good, especially after losing the players. I mean, definitely going against us so far in our form predictions. We thought we'd slip off a little bit. So keep it up down on the South Coast and see what happens, isn't it? Right, Pat. Lead the way, Manchester City. The bad juju is lifted. Is this you winning the Champions League now?
Nah, it's just this team called Crystal Palace seems to find the formula to cause trouble for City. Mostly away, we draw with them. There was one time we're beating them 2-0, believe it or not, and they managed to win 3-2. They just find a way. It looks like no matter who, it was Townsend, no matter who comes into Crystal Palace, it's as if they tell each other in the board meeting or a meeting, say, one team you have to beat is always City. Like that's all they know how to do. Obviously, they gave you guys trouble. They almost beat you guys close. It looks like they've also found a formula for you guys a bit. They're just like that. And Dan, just watch them play a small team like Bournemouth, and then Bournemouth will roll them over 3-0. That's what they do, these guys.
That's what happened. Yeah, they'll lose to a team. You go, why is that?
Because what I've noticed is, I don't know if it's just a conspiracy. I've noticed when they play big teams, Crystal Palace players show up. Maybe they want to move. Maybe they want to impress. They're like, we are capable of doing it at high level. But every time they play a small team, they are relaxed. Like Zaha will not give any passion at all. But at that time when you texted me that how you doing, I think I was just coming from outside and I was like, my God, not again. And Jesse, I was trying to believe that maybe there's teams in this world that are just meant to
I wish I'd never text you.
He jinxed it, didn't he?
No, but there is, let's be honest, this team beats us. Like last year, they took points off us. This team, the other year, they took points off us again. Like they beat us. It's just quite simple. It looks like they know how to play us. And what I've noticed is, I think it's because they've got physical and strong and fast players throughout the team. They are more dribble merchants, as I call them. They are more powerful, shoulder to shoulder. I've noticed when Man City go against power, it doesn't work out. That's the reason why that Liverpool team, when it was in that peak form, when they were all powerful workhorses, Gini, Henderson, and Fabinho in midfield. Remember, City used to struggle because those guys were so strong, they were so physical, and it's hard for City when it's physical. That's why everybody was asking me at work, how come you guys beat Brighton and we struggle? It was a Liverpool fan who's asking me, and Arsenal fan was like, they always make us struggle. Yet you find City when they go against Brighton, it's 5-0, 4-0, 5-0, 4-0. You know what I mean? Because that's what they like. They like technical, tactical stuff where you just pass each other. But here, Jesse, first half I gave up. I was like, not again. I was like, okay, well, it is what it is. Then quite obvious, every City fan knew exactly what was going on. That thing of tucking in Kyle Walker and Cancelo is not working. It doesn't work since Newcastle, but Pep doesn't want to let go of it. I don't know what he's seen. I don't know what he's trying to do. As soon as he got rid of that and made a back three of Walker, John Stones, and Diaz, and then made Foden into a left back and brought Alvarez to become a striker to the left side next to Haaland, things changed. Even Rodri said today that
before we talk about any of them, there's two moments I need to bring up with you, Patrick. You give me an honest opinion as to whether or not that goal that Ederson threw should have been given as a goal. Yes or no?
I was on the side of saying that we got lucky until this morning when it was being explained by Sky. And then they zoomed into it. Then they said the guy who does the rules with the refs started saying this guy, his intent was to take the ball away from the player's hand. Then he did do that. He gave, like, you're supposed, yes, you can do that, but you don't go rush the player and put your foot in. So that's when I got convinced. At first I was like, we got away with it. Then I was like, okay, I see now what they went for. what other event are you looking for? The red card for Haaland.
Well, the third, I was going to say, I mean, I don't see what the difference is with Benzema and Karius, but yeah, I personally
Nah,
think you should have held that L. You should have held that L. That's all I'm saying. But we'll move on, Jesse. We'll move on, Pat. We'll move on. What we'll do is we'll talk about how Erling Haaland stayed on the pitch. I want to know how that's not a red card or even a yellow.
I don't know. I think maybe that's a Crystal Palace. I think maybe gives him a yellow or a red, but I don't know what happened on that one. And they explained it again this morning. Obviously, for me, being honest, I said give him at least a yellow or warn him, because they didn't even warn him. They just walked away. So that one, yes, if the red card came out, yeah, fair enough. But they're saying, oh, Haaland was looking at the ball. That's what they said this morning on Sky.
Relevant. Mane was looking at the ball when he went up for Edison, though, didn't he?
Apparently, according to the guy who was talking this morning, he says if Haaland did the stat thing where the stats went like how Mane is, I say, bleeding, I think that's where the ref was stat. But the guy apparently, I think, held his face as Haaland was, so it's sort of. But anyway, at the end of the day. It's ref mistakes. It has nothing to do with City.
It's Manchester City bias is what it is. You bought the refs.
It's everybody. Everybody has had those moments. And if we are being honest, everybody. But the funny thing is, I think if the match is not 2-0, I think he was looking at a 2-0. Was it a 2-0 at that time? I think if it's not, I think somebody was like, I think he'll be like, you know what? Let me go more intense. But I think he was like, oh, Palace are winning. Maybe let me just go on.
Wanted to give you a chance, and did they?
No,
I
just think Crystal Palace, they give the card because people start booing. Crystal Palace to give that card.
Yeah, you know what I hate about those is just the fact that when they go to the monitor or whatever it may be, or they do the check for the red card, they can't then issue a yellow unless they already gave the straight red. Like override it, just give the yellow instead of the red. They just don't do. There's no action after that. It's either a red or it's the initial on-field call. I think that's bogus. Yeah,
100%. But yeah, hat trick from Haaland. Haaland to the rescue, wasn't it? Really, I mean, scored some good goals. It was impressive, really impressive from them. You know, Man City showed that ability to, to be able to come back and, get those goals that they needed, and he's done what he's been brought in to do. And Pep showed his quality, but you kind of would have hoped for City that wasn't what was required. You'd have looked at this as a game, on paper that City should be winning quite comfortably, but not with previous history.
We're crying for it. You gotta be honest. As City fans, I'm pretty sure when you said they are like, please, the worst must be a draw, not another embarrassment from them. Even before they scored. Sometimes I think it's just a certain team causes some silly bone in a team. City seem to have this sort of silly bone when it's Southampton, Spurs, and Crystal Palace. Like those mistakes where own goals happen, it's always Spurs, Southampton, and Crystal Palace. Where City, I think maybe the players think that, oh, these guys always find an opportunity against us, so that's a bit shaky. But I think going forward, I'm happy that it looks like Haaland doesn't want to allow us to lose. He doesn't. Bernardo Silva too seems like he was the one driving second half, making sure that he's trying to carry the team back. De Bruyne was having he was having a stinker, stink of a day. But what I admired, Jesse and Dan, is for the past weeks, I've been saying, find Haaland, especially what Gundogan did. Multiple times, De Bruyne, Foden, everybody has had the opportunity, even Silva or Mahrez has had the opportunity where there's a counter and Haaland is pointing, like what he was pointing in this game. And guess what? They decide to pass to the winger. So maybe now it took the balls of, sorry, the language, but it took Gundogan to come in and he just passed it. So we're going to see a lot of that. I think from the players are going to see that, oh, this guy can actually do this, because to be honest with you, the only goal that impressed me, obviously the others are impressive, but the one that has impressed me is how can two defenders be holding this guy back and still fail, and he still managed to put his shot off and found the spot. So it's going to be great. All I'm looking forward to is the Champions League, because I think maybe if this guy stays fit, this is what we're missing when we are having those games where
No
City need
excuses
more goals.
anymore, Pat. You're all out of excuses. You need that
Uh,
CL this season.
if he gets injured, we'll have an excuse.
Oh, no, you don't.
Can't hear you, Jesse.
Can't hear you, Jesse.
Sorry. For the sake of our FPLs, we need to know: does Haaland come out of the squad anytime soon, or does he just because Pep Roulette is a real thing in Fantasy Premier League? So we need to know: is he going to keep him? I think after this result, I think he keeps him in at least midweek. But how long do you think he keeps him in for before he starts rotating?
I don't know because first of all we play Nottingham Forest on Wednesday, right, at half 7. Then after that we play Aston Villa. I don't know. If it was up to me, if I was Pep, I would be put. But the thing is he gonna bench him after what he just saw? I don't know. Or is he gonna keep him on the bench and put Alvarez? Because that's what I keep thinking. Is he gonna put him on the bench? But knowing Pep, for the sake that he made a promise weeks ago, saying when we have game after game, and will be on the bench, I bet he will, and put him as an impact sub. My friend thinks he's gonna play the first half and bench him off and keep him for Aston Villa.
Yeah. I see. I have the same thing, and the only reason why I would say anything against that is just because of, like you said, the hat trick. So after that,
he took him off early, didn't he?
Wait
He
a
also
minute.
took him off early. He took him off early in the last game. So yeah, he'll play him. He took him off early.
yeah, he'll, and like you said, even if it's only 45 minutes, 60 minutes, whatever it may be, he'll bring him in anyways. What excuse win that UCL?
To be honest with you, I think I don't want to jinx it, but I think if our defense, because our defense has to shine up also, because I think because of John Stones didn't play preseason, Diaz played only one game, he's still no match. I think if they gel the defense and have that same defense where John Stones and Diaz became unstoppable in the UCL, keeping clean sheets until the Chelsea game, I think having Haaland would be an X factor because I think he doesn't allow you to lose. You know what I mean? He doesn't want to lose. So we'll see anyway. Hopefully we get that first UCL and then people can start saying, "Oh, you only have one."
You've got as many as Aston Villa, and then we'll move on.
Yeah.
but listen, let's talk about some real winners this weekend. Let's talk about record breakers. Let's talk about superstars. Some of the greatest players.
Let's talk about bullying.
Let's talk about the greatest midfield on planet Earth that clearly is available. Listen, Liverpool needed a message. They needed to do something, but 9-0. I didn't see this.
I saw retaliation. I knew that something was going to happen, but I think, it got to the point where it's like 5. When the 5th went in, we were like, oh, okay, didn't see this one.
You're becoming silly now.
Yeah, ridiculous. No, speak to me though, Dan, because this is your guys' record. And I was saying the moment that 9th went in, I went, just go for it. Just go for it.
Break them all. Go for 10. Go for 10.
Break the Premier League goal scoring record, which I believe
we'd have got 10 if Mr. Mohamed Salah actually knew how to play. And if he wasn't belly dancing like Patrick put on that Twitter. I saw you out there putting that belly dancing Mo Salah emotes. I saw that. But listen, I could not believe.
Dan, let's be real. You scored 9 goals.
It's not good enough.
Goals. This is where you have to start, Pat. This is where Salah used to start, Pat. How has I was also disappointed because, as I said, I have nothing bad to say about Salah. That's probably my first comment. That day,
you talk about Liverpool as much as you talk about City. I watch you. I see you.
But I'm saying I don't banter Salah. I don't banter because I know he will just make me look silly. But this particular one, I couldn't resist because I was like, 9 goals. And I kept on asking. I was like, 9 goals and Salah, no assist, even a sniff. Then somebody says, oh, he missed an empty goal. I was like, my God, I hope he doesn't, because this is where he start parts. This is where he catches up with people.
Well, he used to always against Bournemouth. But Patrick, honestly, I captained him. And I said to everyone, I remember Mo Salah getting a hat-trick against them away, again, when it was Eddie Howe as the manager. He scored a wonderful, hat-trick, really nice one he did. And he missed an open goal from Elliott, who, by the way, was a baller in that game. He played fantastically. Like, I know he's got loads of talent, and I know all the rest of it. But wow, the way he took his goal. I mean, he was just electric, playing little passes here, there, and everywhere. This wasn't Bournemouth being really, really bad. They weren't great, but they were Bournemouth. Liverpool were really on it. Like, there was anger in the veins, as in, like, this was like, we need to do something, and they did. I mean, Liverpool last season, I don't recall us winning any game other than Man United 4 or 5-0. I know that was what happened. We were a team who had sort of matured in a way where we went, we're 2-0 up, we're 3-0 up, control the game, rest your legs, just, don't go too much. Like, be grown up. Winning 3-0 gets you as many points as winning 5. It doesn't matter. But this game was like, I think Jurgen had just said, you get out there and you play every minute, 90 minutes.
Yeah,
And they,
I think it's also to put, like sometimes you have to put fear in the league because somebody has seen a chink in your armor, isn't it?
Yeah.
I remember when we pumped Watford 7, we had lost the game before, and small teams had started getting confident with City, and City pumped Watford 7, and you could tell that they're doing this purposely just to set a statement to the small teams that the lesser teams that, you know what, we're still City, and if you keep coming with your chest out, we're gonna do it. So maybe I think this was the statement.
I think so.
It's gonna be interesting what your next game is. I think it's Newcastle, isn't it?
Hey, we're playing Newcastle, and am I disappointed to see that Bruno Guimaraes and Caraft are not playing? 100%. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. I'm happy that Alain Saint-Maximin is getting, a little bit of an issue. Would you risk him coming off against Wolves, holding his hamstring? I wouldn't risk him, because if they lose him, there's not a lot of they don't have a lot of depth within that team, which we'll come up to. But yeah, no, exactly. So that's it. I mean, I think we should get a good result there. Last game without Darwin Núñez. But I want to do a special mention to Roberto Firmino, who decided, I'll tell you when I'm washed. I ain't washed until I say I'm washed. He came back and was playing prime 2017, 2016 Roberto Firmino football. He was everywhere. Passes. He was where you needed him to be. He was brilliant. He was absolutely exceptional. And he just needed a special moment to say how good he was. We saw the best of Trent again. We saw the best of VVD again, as in just their individual performances. They did really well. And it was well needed. Liverpool really needed this result, because it brings the positivity back around the club. There's a lot of negativity at the moment, with the way things are, and no surprise, because we've not been playing as well as we should. We've been creating goal-scoring chances, number 1 in the league for chances created, number 1 in the league for big chances created, and we just weren't finishing our chances, and we were getting caught through silly mistakes time and time and time again. And this was like, right, we need to convert our chances, and by Christ did we do that tonight. In that game, by Christ did we convert our chances. But what we needed to do was get back to what Liverpool used to do, which was no one wants to play us. And that was that message that, as Pat says, that's the fear factor back again. Whoa, hang on, these boys are serious.
Yeah, I think it was the message had to be sent. Now, in whatever way you were going to do that, doesn't really matter. You had to send the message. The way you guys did it it showed a little bit of the naivety of Bournemouth. I will say that. But when the big dogs, as the Grizz Con would say, come to play, and they show up for the first time this season, really, it was a demolition, and the entire team looked a lot more cohesive. You can see what happens when you bring Fabinho into that team and you take Milner out. Or even Henderson, doesn't really matter. But like Dan said earlier, Elliott was stupendous. When Carvajal came on, he was amazing. He had a great finish. But yeah, at the end of the day, this is what we expected from Liverpool from minute 1. I said in preseason that it will depend on who comes out of the gates first between City and Liverpool. And I'm doubting myself a little bit now, because Liverpool certainly don't look like they're really on it as of yet. This is what they needed. City, even with the Newcastle result, I was looking for who's going to be sharp straight out of the blocks, and City do look sharp, but I'm not sure how sharp they're. I don't know how it's going to tick over, if you know what I mean, Pat. I'm just not sure.
Yeah, I remember that. Remember that time when I was talking about the West Ham and Bournemouth game, saying the same thing as like I was about to ask Dan. Remember when I said I wasn't impressed that we were in cruise control and we were in a sort of not even at the best, and people were saying, "Man, you've just won 2 games, got 6 points. Why not impressed?" Because I was looking for a Newcastle, I was looking for a Crystal Palace, I was looking for like this is what this is what I do. I like West Ham haven't been great preseason. They were not playing well, and you could
Really
tell
poor.
that they're not. Yeah, they were playing poor, and Bournemouth, you could tell that these guys like Bournemouth. I think that have accepted. They accepted that playing Arsenal because they beat Nottingham Forest. No, they beat West Ham or one of the first teams they played. I don't remember, but they beat the first team they played, and you could see they played better. No more free. These other games, I think they've accepted that. You know what? Fuck it. We'll try go toe to toe. We'll try our best, but if they beat us, we can mark them off. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, like as I told people, Bournemouth might surprise you because they have been given the bad end of the stick at the beginning. Who plays City, Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool, one after the other? So,
Yeah.
for me, that's why I wasn't trying to measure ourselves. That's why I was looking at Newcastle and Crystal Palace. That if we steamroll uh, Newcastle, which I knew was a difficult team right now, because if you look at the form last season, I was like, I'll be impressed, and then I'll be like, okay, I understand. But you see what happened? Still struggling. Don't forget City keep always get going after 8 games. So we've only played 4 now. That's why, to be honest with you, uh, I am looking forward to. I'm looking forward to the Nottingham Forest game. Are we going to do the same thing as Liverpool? Just make a statement. But I'm more looking forward to the games that have teams that are put in a bit of a fight. You know, teams like Brighton, teams like Wolves. Wolves, regardless where they are, trust me, will give you a bit of a fight. So that's what I'm looking at. That's why the same thing I was telling one of my friends who's a Liverpool fan that like this can be a boost for morale. But I was like, you guys should be looking forward to slapping a team like Newcastle. Like, because if you slap those, I think even your players will be like, yeah, we're good here. Because Bournemouth and West Ham so far, especially West Ham, look like they don't even want to be there when they're playing. West Ham seems like they don't want to do anything. Everton, it's on and off. You can never know on the day. So look, that's what I'm looking forward to for me, Jesse. I'm looking forward to more of the complicated games. That's why last time I said West Ham and Bournemouth did not impress me. I was looking more toward Newcastle and Southampton and Newcastle and Crystal Palace.
Definitely.
Nottingham Forest also seem to want. Here's the funny thing about Nottingham Forest, guys. Who taught them that you can play a high line against Spurs, against Son and Kane? What?
They played right into the hands, didn't they? They just played straight into the hands. It was ridiculous.
It's ballsy, isn't it? It's ballsy. Like that was
Dan, watch them when they play Liverpool and City. Watch them pack the bus. Watch them pack the bus.
Oh yeah. They'll do what they did against Newcastle and put 11 men in the box for the whole match. That's what they'll do. But they came and played straight into Tottenham's hands. I couldn't believe it. I thought genuinely that Nottingham Forest would just be like, have the ball. You play with it. We're not bothered. A 0-0 draw for us is a great result. You know? And instead, they just went, all right, we'll play exactly the kind of football that suits you down to the ground.
We'll get to that in a minute. Let's try to speed through these just so we can do a little bit of a preview for.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, so Villa, West Ham. Newcastle, Wolves versus Brentford, Everton. Loads of pressure on Everton at the moment with Frank Lampard. Probably not the greatest result for Brentford, to be honest. They probably would have hoped for 3 points here against Everton, and they didn't. They didn't quite get it, unfortunately, on this occasion. But more pressure for Frank Lampard at the moment. Big pressure coming up at the moment for him because he's got to get some points on the board. He really does, and it doesn't get any easier this week. For Everton, it really, really doesn't. They've got Wolves, I believe.
For next week, who are we
coming? Oh, Leeds. You're playing Leeds away. And that's going to be a really tough game. Ellen Road under the lights, Jesse Marsh's team. It's going to be difficult.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think for Everton, it's just about survival this season, and for Frank Lampard, it's not looking great. But I think he'll the sword he died.
Hey, I'm going to drop back in a minute, so I've just got to do something.
No worries at all. We'll skim through the rest of the kind of the lesser games. Yeah, no, I think that Frank Lampard survives the season if he stays up.
What about Gerrard, who's also struggling?
Well, we'll get to them in a minute as well. Yeah, no, Gerrard, I've had the way that I'm thinking about Gerrard is like, I mean, the guy has to go basically. If he doesn't start getting results soon. That result against West Ham, giving West Ham their first result of the season, they look toothless. Their defense is disorganized, but the team, when we go through it, which let's just hop into it right now because there's not a whole lot to say on Brentford. The one thing I will say about Brentford is they should have won that game, but they did come back. This team, I know that this defense is weak, but that is a team. That is a team that should not be scrapping at the bottom of the league. I don't know if you agree there, Pat, but
wait a minute. What the hell is he doing, right? Let's ask each other questions here.
Yeah.
This guy, man. Okay, so he's got Luis Diaz, right? Luis Diaz can play DM and can play holding. He can play box to box. He's very versatile. He's got Kamara, who can also play as a holding, I'm pretty sure. McGinn, who was one of the good holding midfielders out there, is very good. He used to play double pivot with David Luiz. What this guy is missing, and it's also obvious, he should get fast wingers. You know what I mean? Stop this whole two Watkins and Danny Ings in front. Do you get my point? I think that's what's killing him. I think try get Coutinho, right? Try get two of the best try to get the double pivot back. Let's say Luiz, Kamara, McGinn, and then have Coutinho as a number 10 behind the striker instead. And then Danny Ings or Watkins has to be sacrificed and have two wingers. You get my point? Like he's got Barry who was on the bench, and apparently Barry wants to leave now. He's got wingers. He has to get fast wingers. I think the things that's missing in this team is that don't have width. Do you get my point? Like, okay, looking at that, why do you have three defensive-minded midfielders? Why?
Well, so McGinn is box to box. He's got a good engine. Douglas Luiz is obviously someone who should be sitting in. Same with Kamara, like you say. You know what I think it is, though, Pat? I think he wants Cash and Digne to be his width, but then look at his defenders. He's got Chambers and Konsa, and then he's leaving them stranded. They don't have that much attacking impetus where they can do that and then get away with it. And West Ham has looked awful this season, but that is a lot. That is a lot of attacking output there. I mean, like Skamaka's not really quick, but Jared Bowen will rinse you. You have Fornals and Emerson bombing up and down. The Suchek work like Rice will be pushing up the pitch. I think it's gross negligence. I really do think it is. I don't think that he necessarily is structuring the team in.
I think he's stubborn. He thinks what he did at Rangers, because he went to Rangers and took authority and benched big players at Rangers and sort of fixed up the team. What this guy is doing is making a mistake. He's got Buendia, right? He's got like those guys who Kamara, Douglas Luiz, even McGinn, they have the potential to play holding themselves, you know what I mean? To hold the midfield themselves. And then why doesn't he take advantage of Buendia and Coutinho? You know what I mean? Be creative and have wingers for width. But I get what you mean. He's trying to use the four backs, but look at what he's using. Why is he going for two strikers? Like it's as if he's desperate. But those two strikers are not very good technical wise. You know, they're not like Danny Ings. Yes, sometimes on his day he can create drop in. But what he's trying to tell us is he wants Watkins and Danny Ings, one of the two, to be dropping in, helping thing. But look at the width. Like right now, even I'm not a manager, but I know how to attack this team. But why all that? Like what? Okay, you have issues with Mings. But Mings is better than Chambers. I'd rather play Chambers, Mings, and the other guy there. But I don't know. I think it's a bit of stubbornness, and that's what's going to kill Gerrard. I think he's trying, as I say, to make his own team. But this formation, man, this is funny. Like all three of those, it's not necessary to like at least have a creative one. You know what I mean? Or tell Kamara you're going to be holding alone, or tell Douglas Luiz and McGinn, who are very good for Dean Smith and also very good for Gerrard in the first season. Those two were good. But he's brought in Kamara. He wants to force the situation. Buendia is on the bench. Look at that.
Buendia, we're talking about Bailey, even though he doesn't necessarily want to be there. Ramsey.
Makamba was good for him. Makamba was good for him last season.
Yeah. You can
do you see what he's doing? He's been stubborn. I bet this is just I want to play players that I bought, and I want to play players who I want to form the team in my way, in my image. But some of those guys on the bench there can help him. Like there's a lot of people who can help him.
Yeah, no, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think he's come in from the Scottish League where he was given full control, and I was probably given assurances that he has full control here. But just because you have full control over a team doesn't mean that it necessarily means that the players will listen to you and that you have authority over the dressing room in the way that you might want to have it. Yeah, Annie, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. I can hear you, man.
Yeah, how's everyone doing?
You don't have the background.
Is the mic on?
Yeah, I can hear myself. The feedback.
1 second.
Yeah, no worries. No, like I'm saying, I just think that yeah, it's going to be an issue. It's going to be an issue for Gerrard because I don't think he has the authority that he necessarily thinks he has when it comes to being able to make all of the decisions with this team, because he has people in there, and I understand Gerrard is a Scouts legend, but I don't know if he's necessarily going to be viewed that way on a managerial level. We've seen a lot of this. You have to earn it.
Most of them wanted him to be the next thing. Like I think Jesse, do you know what also made, like, look, I'm not just hyping Douglas Luiz because he's an ex-Man City boy. It's just that Luiz and McGinn was working in that midfield. Yeah. Kamara came in. If you want to bring Kamara in, why don't you have either Douglas and McGinn to be next to Kamara? But where is the width? Do you remember for this team to actually beat Liverpool, they had width. Remember, they had Jack at the left. I don't know whoever they had at the right-hand side. Like, that's what they were good for. And those are the guys who were feeding Watkins. But now, I think he wants to play down the middle. Because what this formation is for you to play down the middle. And it's also a formation that tells you, I don't have confidence in my defenders. You get it? I have 3 defensive midfielders because I don't have confidence in my defenders. Last time I saw a manager play this, they play with 3 at the back. That was, what's his name? Tuchel. When they play with 3 defensive midfielders, you play with 3 at the back because you're trying to have wing backs. But I don't see, like, does this even make sense? What the hell is this?
No, the lineup doesn't make sense at all. And like we were talking about, when you have Ramsey who can push up, Bailey who could play on the wing, and you could change formation, and Buendia, you have 2 decent box-to-box stroke 10s. Plus, Coutinho. Yeah, it's just too narrow. I think he's starting to play around with things because I think he's feeling the heat. And he doesn't know what to do with himself. You want to go ahead and try that again, Annie?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, no feedback now. What are you thinking about Gerrard, dude?
Let me be honest. The Gerrard's, who is it? There's the stat going around that Gerrard has a worse win percentage here than Gary Neville did at Valencia. So it's a bit of a sticky one. It's a bit of a sticky one right now for Gerrard. Like Pat said, look at this team. Look how many people he's bought. Look at his back line. Like, I know he's missing his 2 starting centre backs, but my God, like, look at it. Look at this midfield. Luiz, Kamara, and Ging. Name me who's creating for these guys other than Coutinho. But you've got Buendia on the bench.
Saying, they're all defensive-minded players. Man.
I don't get it. You've got Buendia on the bench. You spent a load of money on him. You spent money on Coutinho. Ollie Watkins, for me, is not a striker. He's more of a... I don't even know what Ollie Watkins is, because when he was playing the championship, this guy would play up top. He would play he can play left or right of the wing. Like, he can create.
But why doesn't he do that? Okay, why doesn't he bring in Bali or Bailey, whatever his name, the Jamaican
This
guy?
is what I mean. Like,
Tell Watkins to go out wide, right? And then now he's got 2 wide players. Then Ings down the middle. There's the solution. And remove one of those guys, Kamara, McGinn, or Douglas Luiz. Make a double pivot, right? Then put Buendia behind the 2 the guys with Coutinho and what's his name? Buendia. Isn't that
Buendia? But here's the problem. He's not going to want to sacrifice Coutinho.
No, I mean like what we're sacrificing here is we're sacrificing because I think Douglas Luiz, Kamara, or McGinn can actually hold themselves. Like they can. I have seen Dean Smith but the thing about Gerrard is I think he wants Kamara in there. Maybe he sees Kamara as somebody because he wants Kamara because he bought Kamara, right? But I've seen Douglas Luiz be the 2 that work. So why he needs to sacrifice something in there? Especially those 3 midfielders are all defensive. I don't get why he put the bench was one of the most creative players.
That's why I said Coutinho, that's his guy. As much as people say, oh, that's Coutinho's his guy, even if he takes off one of them, he's gonna have to now move Watkins to the wing, Ings in the middle, put Bailey on, and one of those four is gonna have to be sacrificed in order for Bailey to come on and Watkins to go in the wing. It's not going to be Coutinho, and I definitely don't think it's going to be John McGinn because he's relied on John McGinn more than he has on the other two. So I generally think, and he likes Jacob Ramsey, but for some reason, you look at this midfield and you're just like, my guy, you've spent all that money and you haven't got a stable midfield. Like, bro, I'm not even gonna lie. Right now, his midfield is worse than United's. But everyone will say, "Oh, this, and that." Look at the midfield.
You
Are
basically
you for real?
Yeah, but this is purposely done. United had no choice because that's all they were dealt with, right? But this guy, I can sit there and say Watkins. Okay, you're right about Watkins. I remember he was a winger. Then they said, "Oh, he's been bought by Dean Smith. Now he's been played more of a striker." He was always like a winger, then an inside forward. Why don't you put him out wide? Bring that guy Bailey for the Jamaican guy. He has got speed. Put Danny Ings down the middle if you don't want to get rid of. Then get rid of one of those defensive guys over there. There's no point of having three. None of them are attack minded. What are they protecting? Doesn't he trust his back line? Maybe.
No, he doesn't trust his back line. For a fact, he doesn't trust them.
Yeah, no, he definitely doesn't. But you know what he did wrong was last season he came in like he did at Rangers and said, look, it doesn't matter who my captain is, because he was sitting next to his captain at a press conference, and he basically said, if you're not, no, it doesn't really matter. Don't ask him, ask me. If he doesn't perform, then he won't be playing for this team. I think he did a similar thing, pissed off the entire dressing room. And now he's just playing the players that he has to play because these are the players who are going to play for him. Does that make sense? Like, where's Traore? The Traore kid. He's electric. He's a great winger. Like, I'm not sure if they sold him. I'm not sure if he's injured. But I think what he did was he came in, overestimated the amount of clout that he has in this game, and actually said just some of the wrong things. Basically said, if you're not going to play for the team, if you're not going to follow these expectations, you got to leave. So he did the right thing in that respect, but I think it ultimately backfired for him. I don't think this team is playing for him as much as they should do.
Yeah.
I think he just made some rookie mistakes. And I mean, he's got a worse record, like you said, Annie, than Gary Neville did at Valencia. And you know what Gary Neville did after Valencia? He said, I'm so ashamed of myself as a manager that I'm no longer going to manage. I'm actually going to stop managing, football teams.
It's stubbornness. I think it's in all of them. It's in these ex-English players. In Lampard too, go to Chelsea, things are working out for you. Guess what? He wants to be Mr. Big Balls and says next season I'm gonna do this. Remember, things were working out at Chelsea. Not bad. He didn't do bad, but then he started buying, and he says, I'm going to drop this one. I'm going to do this. Kante, you're not going to see any football. Kante is not a DM. Remember those comments? He's not a DM. Like, I don't get some of these guys. Like, why don't you, like Jared had it well at Aston Villa. They were not that bad. Dean Smith, as bad as he was, he organized the team. And Jared, I think, should have just added these Kamara people and brought them in slowly. Start off with the odd heads. Start off with what was doing well for you. But I see him, Gary Neville, and Lampard have this stubbornness. Maybe they think because they were like great English players, they know what they're doing. They start off the first season like Jared. Look, it's now Rangers. He started off well. Now he's going here, trying to say, you know what? Now let me put my own image. I think at Rangers he was held back a bit. He changed a few things, but he still had the formula there of the team that was there. Same thing as Lampard. Derby was good. He came to Chelsea, kept the skeleton of the team, and then the next season decided to say, I'm Mr. Big Balls. I'm gonna play this one. No, play this one. Gary Neville just went crazy. He just went to a team and practically changed the whole team. I don't know.
Just real quick before you go ahead and make your point, but then we're going to move on to Arsenal and
Patty, Frank Lampard wasn't good at Derby. Ask any Derby fan. He underachieved with what they had. These men were supposed to push to the Premier League the year before he left, and he got offered the Chelsea job. They were like, "Go, we don't want you here," because he underperformed. Look at the people he had, all the talented players he had, and they didn't make it through the playoffs. They didn't even make the top three. So I don't know, like all these English managers that are getting all these free chances. Like, look at, even though Bournemouth are doing crap, look at what's his name, Bournemouth's manager.
Oh my god, I literally have a Clark.
I know, not Clark. No, that's Bournemouth's manager. Play Scott Parker. Scott Parker.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought Clark. Yeah.
Scott
Gobert is
Parker.
not bad. He's actually good.
He's not bad. He's good, but it's just that this Bournemouth team is just as cohesive as they
No
were in the
investment,
Championship.
no investment at all.
Yeah, they're just not as they haven't. They're just not doing what they need to do, and there's lack of people, lack of bodies in that team compared to like
Scott
Fulham.
Parker would do better at Everton. He would actually do better in that Everton team.
I think he'd do a better job than what Gerrard is doing at Villa right now with this team.
Yeah, sometimes you just need hours under your belt, and you need a reputation and experience to be able to handle these. I think Steven Gerrard probably knows how to handle players as a captain and not necessarily as a manager. And that's going to be the death of him ultimately. Let's go ahead and move on to Arsenal, though. Good result. I think, I thought that the result against Palace on the opening day was less impressive than people made out. Because Palace just didn't look cohesive or anything, but they're starting to slightly look better and better and better as time goes on. I still don't think that people are getting a little ahead of themselves. I think we all know that when it comes to but they look like a good side. That's what I'll say. They look like a good side. They look like a consistent side. And I don't think all of our teams, we could say confidently, we've looked consistent. So the signs are positive. But what are you guys' initial thoughts on this game, basically?
It took a lot. It took a lot for them to score. Look at that, 22 shots, 8 on target. It took a lot of energy for them to score. It only took for when Mitrovic scored that they switched on. Why? Why did it take for Mitrovic to score? Like Mitrovic, thank you for the FPL points. That was great. But why is it taking Arsenal for Mitrovic to score for you man to now go, oh no, we now need to turn up the volume a bit? Like it was a weird one for Gabriel to give away to let him score. Because like even then, after Arsenal scored, Fulham could have got another one as well, or another two. But it was just a great save from their goalkeeper to keep it out for Mitrovic. So I don't know. Arsenal look okay going forward, but still again, they're shaky because you've seen it. Seen it against Palace, where even Palace weren't great, but they could have scored a couple goals. Against not even against Bournemouth. Bournemouth is Bournemouth. Bournemouth is Bournemouth. We're not taking Bournemouth seriously. Against Leicester, they went down one way, conceded another literally seconds later. So I don't know. It's just that Arsenal defense. Going forward, they're fine. Jesus, Odegaard, Saka, even though Saka's on a little downturn of form, he doesn't look as great as he was before. But it's just one of those. Their real test is Sunday. Sunday, that's the real test for Arsenal.
Yeah, it is. Pat, thoughts?
I look, Fulham, first of all, I'd like to give them the flowers. Everybody thought that Fulham have made a mistake with the signings they have. I like the team, man. I like that Robinson left back of theirs. He's very good. And he looks like he's on his way because Fulham have started looking at the left back also, and he hasn't signed a contract yet. So Robinson, man, my God, he's the one who shut down Salah in the Liverpool game. I think he's gonna go to big things. I think Fulham could have won this game, but they sort of got back into the shell when they scored the goal. They were working very hard, playing well. Arsenal so far have been riding the wave. I don't know, Annie. It's one of those things where when a team starts, they just get lucky. Things just work out for them. You know what I mean? Because if you look at that Arsenal team, right, it's not like they're playing good football, but it's not like they're playing high class Liverpool or Man City football, and Man City and Liverpool were on the top of the game. I haven't seen that from them. I still think even Man United will dunk on them, and people will be shocked, and there'll be faces like, "What is it?" No, calm down. Let me explain you. I think people will be surprised when this team gets dunked on by United. I'm telling you, Jesse. People might think I'm lying, but I've been watching them. Yes, they're playing, But I think if they go towards a team that's half decent, they'll not do as great as they were. Crystal Palace, they just got away with it. I saw the Crystal Palace game. I was like, how did Arsenal manage? It looks like they're going through it. I hope they don't have that thing that happened to Leicester, where they were just going through sometimes in games. You're like, how did Leicester do that? But I don't think it's going to happen. I think it will be stopped very soon. And people might think I'm wrong or hating. I just feel like United will give these guys a bit of a slap, because looking at United's defense in the past 2 games with Martinez and Duran, you guys look more solid than I know. People are hyping Saliba, but Gabriel doesn't look solid at all. I would be attacking him. And Ben White hasn't been tested. Let's be honest. Has Ben White been tested as a right back? No. He's very comfortable in his own skin. So it will take a team that's got speed, a team that is also very half decent, and Fulham almost beat them. It's just that I don't understand why Fulham stopped what they were doing as soon as Mitrovic scored and they started going back to small team mentality. Maybe they put so much energy in that Liverpool game. They beat Leicester. Leicester don't look great. But I'm just watching closely. The next game is Aston Villa, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Ah,
I
they don't-
honestly, like first off, Gabriel has a bozo gene in him. I don't know like where people get this thing where he's like this super solid center back. He's a 7 out of 10 center back 75% of the time. The rest of the time he's 5 out of 10. He has a mistake in him, and that's actually where that Mitrovic goal came from. He does this all the time. Now, just because he scored 5 goals or something last season doesn't mean he's a amazing center back. I think, the Crystal Palace game, they were very fortunate. They scored a goal, and they in like the 20th minute, and they sat back. Don't know why they took their foot off the gas. Crystal Palace had 4 or 5 good chances to score, and then Saka got a deflected own. Like Saka just crossed it in, hit someone in the face, and it went in. Like they weren't that good against Palace. Leicester and Bournemouth are both just what they are right now. I wouldn't take anything from that. And then the next time they're tested against Fulham, who still you kind of expect not necessarily to get relegated, but to be right down there at the bottom. They made hard work of it. They did the right things in the end. They look like a cohesive unit, and that's all well and great. But even Villa on Wednesday, Villa can't keep a clean sheet. But even then, this is an actual Prem team that you're going to be facing. You know what I mean? Everyone else they've played, Crystal Palace, Leicester, don't really look like Prem teams. The other two that they faced really haven't. I mean, they're just not. They're championship level teams at best. I think it's interesting. I'll give them their flowers. They've done well up until now, but I expect them. It's going to be rough, especially if United go to Leicester, have Casemiro in their side. If Tony comes back at some point, I don't think he will by Arsenal match. I think that they might find it really tough against United, especially at OT. I know that Arsenal fans say we won at OT like a year ago. You guys looked pretty bad. Even the 3-1 last year, we outplayed them the entire game, and they were basically lauding that. So I don't know about all that. I'll be honest, but Arsenal, good result. Let's move on to Nottingham and Tottenham. I mean, I don't think I thought Nottingham played into their hands. We kind of went over this earlier in the stream.
Yeah.
Tottenham basically got to play the game they wanted to play. Yeah, go ahead, Annie. Yeah.
But just me and Dan we've always said it's good that why is it teams always sit back against some of these teams and never attack? Now they do. You see why? Because they'll play into the hands. But Jesus, Nottingham Forest, I know you're good guys and I like you, but there's no way you should be playing a high line against people like Kane, Son, and Kulusevski. You're going to get ripped apart. If you play like that against City this week, midweek, you're going to get Haaland is going to have the time of his life.
They won't.
I know they won't.
This is what they do. This is what they do. Do you know what makes me laugh? It seems like teams. I'm going to just say this straight off the bat. It looks like teams don't fear Spurs and Arsenal. What do I mean by that? When teams play Spurs and Arsenal, right? I want you to watch the game. When teams play United, even as bad as United is, Annie, they will pack the bus for you. You know that, unless they just that day they want to go fight toe to toe, but they always counter you. They'll try to counter United, And United, obviously, because you guys always love counter too, you fail. But notice that teams never fear Spurs and Arsenal. I wanted to watch Spurs and Arsenal games. Maybe now teams will start fearing Arsenal a bit, maybe because they're hyped up and they're scoring. But I've always noticed Spurs teams go toe to toe. They always go toe to toe. Like Brentford packed the bus against us and Liverpool, and they even packed the bus against you guys and counted the hell out of you guys. But guess what? They do to Spurs. They want to play man to man. Like nobody respects Spurs. It seems like they don't care. It's not like they're giving them away the game. I think they think, oh, we have a chance with these. Do you know what I mean? We have a chance with this because what was Nottingham Forest doing? Playing like, how can you play a high line like that and be pushing up and be pressing? Nottingham Forest, the manager, if you're watching this, please continue
Super,
this.
man.
Please continue it on Wednesday. Please, I beg you.
Cooper. Yeah,
Press. It's the only way
we
to win
just
Man
need-
City. Press high.
We need the Haaland fantasy points. Come on, and Haaland and Pep Roulette, man. Ugh.
Yeah, we already spoke earlier. I think I'm keeping him as a, I don't know, my vice captain. Him, to be fair.
Bro, I think I'm just gonna have to
He's taking my
start
team.
him and be.
I can stay in my team at the very least. But
No, but like Forest, they did well to a point where they could have scored some goals because there's just so many missed chances. Like they've bought, is it 19 players now?
like it's
Yeah,
19
19. The
players.
19th one was today. Yeah.
19 players, guys. Like, could you imagine? Remember when someone told us that we couldn't buy 6 players, 7 players? Now someone has bought 19.
they also lost 20 players, I think. To be fair,
I know. So there's that, like Gardner, Jed Spence, like.
Do you wanna click on Jesse? Do you wanna see something interesting? Click on Man City versus Nottingham Forest. Just click on it. Then click on it. Then go to stats.
here.
Click on it. Then go to stats. Yeah, go to stats and check the recent meetings.
Wow.
Keep going down. Go to the recent meetings. Yeah.
Huh?
You guys getting dominated by good old.
What?
In the 90s,
What?
obviously.
No, I
In
know.
the night.
That was 6 months after.
Swear.
Look at that.
You have one win in 6. I don't.
Yeah,
that's
so-
not even you lot's fault. That's not even
So-
you lot's fault.
So we're underdogs coming into this one.
How
Yeah.
could you allow it? Well, actually, yeah, they've got more European heritage than you. So yeah, you're the underdogs.
So, look, we're going to a UCL holder and they've beaten us multiple times. So looking at that Nottingham Forest, you have to be confident to go and start pressing high. Press high. Hit the press.
Oh my god. Yes, Nottingham Forest. I love you.
I swear to God, if they decide to do a high line, my God, Haaland will. Oh, jeez.
Oh, Haaland's gonna be pocketed
It's going to be an
differently.
mess. Anyways, I don't think Tottenham have looked great. Now, Tottenham fans will say, well, this is the way Conte plays. I get it. I'm just saying I don't want to watch Tottenham games. And I think that's fine with every Spurs fan.
What's the next
But
game?
they're probably the most boring team to watch.
They play West Ham.
Damn away.
Man,
West Ham
I'm also
West
with you,
Ham.
Jesse.
Can you
I'm not
imagine?
impressed. It's bad football. It's like poor football. It's is it Burnley? Is it John Dyche? Because John Dyche never had money, so that's why he was playing like that. But this guy has been given the money they've invested. They're playing the worst football, and Kane loves it. This hoof over the top ball. He loves it because he goes back and hoof the ball over the top. Son is there waiting. My God, I don't know. I was expecting better football from them. They actually played better football under Mourinho.
Exactly.
At first, maybe, but by the end, that was dreadful as well. But no, I know you're saying it's pretty much the same, isn't it? It really is. It's pretty much the same. No, it's just one of those. Hit the ball, get the ball to Harry Kane. He'll pump it out either left or right to Son or Kulusevski. Yeah, it's dreadful. Just so we can go ahead and finish the stream here in like 10 or so minutes. Let's go ahead and just run through these, and we'll give our Prem predictions for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, respectively.
Yeah.
Crystal Palace versus Brentford. I'm going for this one. I actually think that this will be something like a score draw, like a 2-2. I don't think either team is perfectly set up yet, but I do think there will be goals in here. So I'm going to go 2-2. at Selhurst.
Mm.
You want to go
I
any?
think
Or
I think 2-1. I think 2-1 Brentford. I think Ivan Toney's due a goal.
I mean, he's got a couple
I
already.
think he's due. I know, but he's due another one, at least. Him and Mbeumo, because that was slightly poor. That was poor against Everton. I'm not even gonna lie.
I think this is going to be a
Poor.
nil-nil.
No, you really think?
I think so. I think they're just gonna cancel each other. I think this will be one
Is
of those
Zaha
games.
still injured? Zaha's
No,
still
he says he's
injured.
coming back. He said that all he wrote is they never believed us, but they never believed in us. Then GJ Khaled came and said God did at the top of his status. So I don't know what he's talking about. Is he going to Chelsea, as rumors have said?
Yeah, the rumors
Hudson
about
Odoi
him
is in
going
Germany
Chelsea.
right now as we speak. He's in Germany.
Brother, it could happen, man. It could happen. But yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's gonna be 2-1.
I think it's a draw. I think it's a draw for me. I think it's one of those shameless draws. I'm looking forward to Fulham versus Brighton because they both seem to that they can play football. But Brighton, I think I think it's gonna be difficult because Brighton against Mitrovic, I think they're gonna struggle a bit.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is this where the clean sheets kind of dry up a little bit? They've been good so far, but it's been from controlling games. You know what I mean? It hasn't been from like spectacular defending. It's just been from controlling games. So it's hard to call. I think Brighton might win this.
Fulham at home, Fulham at home look like they're difficult. They're a difficult team.
This is what I'm saying though. So like if Brighton do win it, I think it's because Brighton keep a clean sheet. Otherwise, I'd go like a 1-1 or a 1-0 Brighton or something. But I think it's hard to keep Mitrovic is just doing his thing right now. That's kind of the thing.
I think this will be Brighton's first defeat.
Oh, really? So what are you going for then?
2-1. I think Brighton seem to do well against certain teams, but when they go towards a team that's just fresh, they seem to lose. If you look at the history, they always lose against weird teams. You know, I think Fulham will beat them. I think they beat them 2-1. I just feel like a 2-1.
I think Mitrovic, after watching that Arsenal game, how Mitrovic was holding the ball and terrorising that Arsenal back line, I think he'll have some fun with this Brighton defence. Because there's no Tarkowski and there's no kind of midfield defenders like that because they're all in other clubs, so they're going to have a bit of trouble.
Yeah, no, I mean, I hear it. I think, something about Fulham I just think they're going to keep scoring. So I can get on board with like a 1-1 draw or something. I don't think that they're going to win that, honestly. But that's fair enough. Southampton, Chelsea. What are we thinking, boys?
This is a difficult one.
Kante's injured, isn't it?
Who's injured?
Is it Kante is injured?
Still injured.
Yeah, but this guy has been injured for a while now.
No, but Carragher is on the red. I just feel like, I don't know. I just feel like is Koulibaly coming back?
Koulibaly got a second yellow, so Koulibaly will be back for this one. Yeah,
he'll be back.
Yeah, he only had one suspension. So
the question now is, can we trust someone to create for this Chelsea team? This is the question.
No, of course.
Even Southampton against United, mind your own, Josh. Even Southampton against United, there was chances for Southampton to score. So it's down to Chelsea to create the chance. But again, their midfield is light. But they have to rely on Sterling to put in the goal. So right now it's Sterling or nobody. Because I can't trust Kai Havertz.
The one thing I will say is I think once Fofana comes in, that means James is pushed out to right back again, and then the creativity starts coming back because then they actually have a real wing back on that side. If you know what I mean, I think they've been missing.
My issue is Chelsea playing a back four.
No, they don't. They play in a back five.
Exactly, but the thing is, I feel like this whole with Fofana coming in, I don't know if are they going to play a back five.
Southampton actually have a good midfield. The only thing I've noticed is they make silly mistakes. That's the only thing I have noticed about Southampton is the silly mistakes. But the midfield is solid. but they try. They've been like I feel bad for them because they've been trying hard in the games they're playing. They've been playing well. It's just they just come out short. They just like the goals that are scored against Southampton. Like as I said, it's maybe passes made wrong, but overall that goals that you can't stop. To get my point, like they've been given, like people are pumping them. Like the Bruno one was a good goal. Like what are you gonna do if you're not there? But they're trying their best. If Southampton bring their A game and Ward-Prowse comes in with the A game, and I think they might get something. But you never know. Chelsea is one of those teams that will play, who always look like they're gonna get beat. Then they just end up being lucky with something, with a way they find a way to win. This is after Spurs. This is the second team that bores the hell out of me. There's nothing exciting about Chelsea. I'm sorry, Tony. There's still nothing exciting about your team. It's probably one of the most boring teams after Spurs.
Sorry, but yeah, no, it's true, man. Like I can't stand to watch them, especially when you just don't have any creativity. It's nothing's ever gonna happen. Like at least with United, it could go either way.
Yeah.
Like it's always fun to watch because you just don't know what's
this is just side to side passing, side to side passing, side to side. James, pass to James. Try find him, James. That's it. Nah.
Well, I still think
it's dead.
Can I go? I think my mind tells me Chelsea is going to win 2-1, but my heart tells me Southampton are going to walk away with a 1-0.
What do you want to go with, your head or your heart?
I'm gonna go with Southampton 1-0 just to rock the apple cart.
All right, screw it. Yeah, no, I'm going Chelsea 1-0. So I think that Chelsea will.
I'm going Southampton 3-0.
Huh? You pick another Leeds? Impossible,
Yeah,
Patrick.
I think I'm gonna pick another Leeds. I think they'll get. I think this is where Chelsea will get exposed again.
They press, man. They press. It's basically
that little
at this point. So, I mean, like, yeah, we might see an upset here. Anthony, let us know what you're thinking in the chat. Y'all go 1-0. What are you going 2-1 and then 3-0?
Raheem red card.
Well, Foley just going in on it. Yeah. All right. Leeds Everton. I'm going to go because my American boys are in this 3-0 to the Americans at
Jess, I was thinking that as well. I was thinking at least 2-0.
I think Everton. I think Everton might like sustain for a little bit, but I honestly think that Leeds have like the most pressures in the league by a million miles. Like they are by far the most aggressive team, and I think they just have enough. I think it will slow down here soon, though, as we start playing midweek, weekend. You know,
Rodrigo, I think will do well. I think Rodrigo's going to bang in this one, and that I don't see that Everton defense stopping Rodrigo and the mighty Dan James. So
I think it's going to be 3-1. I think Anthony Gordon's going to score again. But
so
Leeds are just going to have too much. Yeah, so I think if his Leeds are just going to score like Rodrigo and maybe Dan James and maybe
Brendan Aronson. Come on.
Yeah, maybe them 3 score and then you're just like, okay.
Yeah, honestly, I just the difference between Brighton and Everton. I know Brighton got a good victory over them at home, but Brighton is pretty. Brighton is pretty press resistant though. Brighton know what they're doing, playing out from the back. Everton don't have even a semblance of that. So I just don't see how they're gonna be able to put up with the press at all. And yeah, Everton. Thanks for this, Josh. Everton to get spanked by Marsh's Yankee Doodle. This is we're going full on the American and Australian manager stroke player hype this season. So we'll be like this all season. We'll be unbearable. But yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, I'm gonna go 3-0 Leeds just for fun. Like I honestly just think Leeds will win, but 3-0 for the sake of it.
Yeah.
What do you think? Did we already give our score predictions, or we just?
Yeah, I said 3-1 Leeds.
I'm also with you guys, man. I don't think Everton will do anything. They seem lost, but I have a feeling that Everton will gel mid-season or somewhere there because they've got big players that I think will not want to be embarrassed, being embarrassed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they're already embarrassed because Dele Alli's in Turkey, man.
Man,
that guy, man, his career, man, it's just the thing is he never cared. He picked too early and he thought he was the he was the man.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
issue.
Nah, it's after he was playing with Guardiola's daughter. That's when he was like, "Yeah, I made it."
But
Yeah.
I mean, like I remember a video or two that was released that was leaked, and it was not. When you're having girls solicit you, and you're like,
Oh, you mean that picture from video from years ago?
yeah,
Yeah.
has been. I don't know if it was ever disproven, but bro, he's been kind of on that radar for a while. It doesn't look great.
Nah, he's a bit of a fool. I think so. He's somebody who I think thought that I have the skill, and he thought he was undroppable in that Tottenham team until Mourinho brought him down to earth. But Mourinho warned him that if you continue in this path, I tell you, I'm never wrong. You're gonna end up a failure. So there he is. He's becoming a failure now. The only thing he's able to bring back is his hair by dyeing it, the dreads and shit like that. But anyway, I think the Leeds are gonna spank those guys. This game, I think Wolves are winning.
I think so too. Yeah, I don't really see anyone around it. I think it might be like a 2-0 or 2-1, but I think Wolves definitely do them. I'll go 2-0 because Bournemouth after that beating, this is a real test of character. And typically, when you see promoted sides go through that sort of beating, it doesn't turn around as quickly as it does with like United getting absolutely battered by Brentford and then coming out with a result, getting up to play their rivals at home and putting a good performance. It typically takes promoted sides a little bit longer to get the confidence back up. I'll go 2-0 Wolves, I think.
I'm going 3-0 Wolves.
All right.
I think Neto and Neves and maybe Jimenez all three will get those goals for the Wolves. Bournemouth just look shocking defensively.
Let's just say that if Bournemouth find a way to win this game, I think it might actually push their season forward. I think if they find a way to win this, then that we'll know the character. Let's just say I'll be watching this game because I just want to see the character of the Bournemouth team. I want to see if they have the guts to say, you know what, we got spanked by Arsenal, Man City, and Liverpool. Those are big teams, but you Wolves are not going to spank us, you know what I mean, or embarrass us. I think that's when you see how strong. But I still think Wolves will win because Wolves so far haven't been winning, but they have been playing very well, and I think they've got better quality than Bournemouth.
They threw it away against Newcastle. They should have won that game.
Just unleash the monster Adama, please. Let Adama dunk on them, please.
Bring the baby oil
back. Do you know that you guys, Adama, the same Adama that was 90 million 2 seasons ago when he was on fire. Do you know how much he is now? They were looking for 15 million now. Wolves was looking for 15 million to get him off the books. I think they were pissed off after what he did the Barcelona. He forced the Barcelona thing. So I think they were pissed off. So they just want him to go. To be honest with you guys, I've been saying to many people, Adama under a manager with a bit of coaching, I think he can cause trouble. Because all you have to tell him is stick in the front, run at the players, balls in behind. Remember, he did it that season when he was on fire, feeding the striker. So, he just needs coaching. He just needs coaching. That guy needs coaching, and he would cause trouble. If I was a manager, I'll make him a right back.
Legitimate. I mean, this is what the Conte thing was going. People were going about. Tottenham fans were saying, no, we don't want him. He doesn't have end product. But imagine him as just purely a wingback. With a back.
I think that guy, if you convinced him to be a wing back or a fullback, I think if he buys into it, but I think it needs a manager like Conte, Klopp, Pep, like Ten Hag. You know, he needs somebody at high level to tell him that. If he said yes for the sake of the team, my God, imagine who's gonna push him around. You know how some of these fullbacks get pushed around. He's going to be incredible for you. He can run down and up and down for you. You know, I don't know.
I mean, he's just juiced up Antonio Valencia. Antonio Valencia, when he got going, was impossible to stop.
Yeah,
because once he's moving, it's just he's enough of a freight train on his own. If Antonio Valencia is a bus once he gets going, this guy's a freight train. Yeah, no, honestly, just for viewing pleasure, it would have been fun to see as well. You know what I mean? Just it would have been cool to see him play, just bobbing up and down the line. It would have been cool. Arsenal Villa. Villa is definitely conceding in this game. 100. Yeah. They can't keep a clean sheet for the life of them.
That formation of theirs.
Yeah, Martin is going to be on something else today in that game.
I think I'm gonna go Arsenal 3-1. As much as I hate to say it, I think that this is definitely not the game where they get their bubble burst, especially at home at the Emirates and all that. So I'm gonna go 3-1. Villa can't keep a clean sheet for the life of them. So
I think that's the only issue. But as soon as they get the ball, what I'm thinking is, as Annie said, Gabriel looks shaky. I think putting Dunnings or whatever Watkins on Gabriel can also be an advantage if Coutinho can find them. But we'll see. I hope this is not where Arsenal. Arsenal are funny. I bet Jesse, this would be the game where they give Jared a bit of a lifeline, and they'd be like, "What?"
Oh,
No, I'm just saying that I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna say Arsenal gonna win, but I'm saying Arsenal are that funny where you expect them to go and steamroll Aston Villa, and they find they give Jared a bit of a lifeline.
yeah.
That's how they do, yeah.
But
Odegaard looks great, so he looks like he's on form. He looks like he's on a mission to prove that I'm the captain. I'm here to carry the team. So I think they're gonna beat them 2-0.
is Zinchenko back for this? Do you guys know?
not from anything that I've heard.
What happened? What happened to him?
I think he picked up a little knock, but
Before
he should.
Yeah.
He doesn't get injured a lot. Obviously, at City, he didn't play much, but he never get injured a lot.
Yeah.
But he's at Arsenal now. He's getting injured. Like coincidence.
I mean, it would literally be their luck to get someone who's not injury prone, and then just have their next left back turn into the exact same thing that Tierney is. Even though Tierney was injury prone before he came in. Now I'm going 3-1. What are we saying?
I'm saying 4-1 Arsenal.
Okay.
I think Arsenal are gonna try. Arsenal, Martinelli, and Gabriel are gonna cook that back line. If that's the same back line that starts. I think that absolutely, because Xhaka looks like he's slowly pushing himself into form, and without Partey, they're gonna start El Nene. El Nene seems decent when he plays next to Xhaka, so I generally think Arsenal are going to put a couple goals past Villa. Villa needs this. Villa needs this.
Yeah, that's another thing. That's another thing. Oh, there's no party, isn't it? Yeah,
There's no
if
Partey.
Arsenal continue playing with no party and start playing half decent teams, I think they'll start having trouble.
Yeah. El Nene cannot. Dude, if United are firing, and if I don't think Anthony will start against Arsenal yet, he'll be there. I'm just saying, if there's enough width there, and they don't have Zinchenko, and Tierney's not fully fit, and they have White, and then no Partey, that's going to be you start playing real teams, it's going to be rough. It's going to be rough.
That's why I'm saying how desperate is Villa, because this Villa might be desperate, and if it's on any midfield, Aston Villa must be banking their chances. They can dominate that midfield with those 20.
They need to start Leon Bailey.
Yeah, they need to start the brother. That's what I say.
Yeah, you need width. Yeah.
Do you know Leon Bailey would actually rinse Ben White? Trust me.
He would. Remember just when we were playing them pre-season, look how he rinsed everyone. Like, come on, play him, Gerrard.
Man. I think Jared, that was never his signing. Remember, it was Dean Smith. It was Dean Smith who got him, remember?
Yeah, take off Ollie Watkins, start Ings, and start someone else. Or take one of the defensive-minded midfielders and push Watkins to the right.
Yeah, you don't need to play two strikers, do you? You need width. So that's just what he needs to.
Ings needs service to score goals. Like, this guy loves playing against Arsenal.
Yeah, and then if you really need it, you're not gonna even playing Ollie Watkins. It's not the worst idea ever because pace. You know what I mean? That way that they can't press up as high. Not that they really do anyways. What just happened to us here? I think that's the way forward for sure. Let's move on to City, Nottingham. This one,
go on.
I mean, this one, City should absolutely bang them, but watch Nottingham try to play a low block like Pat was saying. I still think City get the job done, but if they try to play that high line, they're going to be done within 30 minutes with Haaland playing, especially if Haaland does play.
Even Alvarez, if Alvarez plays, have you seen the speed on Alvarez? I think if Alvarez plays, he would rinse them. But I tell you, they'll pack it. They'll pack it so well, you'll be surprised saying this is the same Nottingham Forest. They won't move anywhere. Then what they're gonna do is they'll try to get Jesse Lingard to do counters.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. They have a couple players on that side that do have pace.
Not just
And then
not just Lingard.
Link, and Jesse knows how to link versus top teams as well. He's good at it. You know, that's his game. Find
Yeah,
Lingard and
not just Lingard. They have like people like Manuel Dennis
yeah.
and now 44 million Morgan Gibbs White. Like there's players that can do something, but
They're decent.
I
They're
don't
decent, and
know.
those players I think they'll be ready to play on Wednesday.
Yeah, but I'm just
But
hoping Man
but Annie,
City, Pep
that would also
Guardiola.
be great, Annie. Annie, it'll be great if they bring those big ballers. You know what the coach is gonna do is like, I've got big ballers. I don't need to sit back. That's what he's going to do. Yeah, do you remember Fulham? Fulham used to do that. Fulham bought
Exactly.
Sarri from France. They bought a few ballers.
Very,
They didn't want to sit back. They wanted to play attractive football because their fans were booing when they sit back. They're trying to say, you've just bought good players. Why are you sitting back? Do you get my point?
yeah, and then they got cooked for it.
I hope they don't sit back. I hope they open up and we tear that ass and then bench the
Patrick,
players.
you need to call Pep Guardiola before you go to bed tonight and tell him, don't you dare drop Haaland. Let him play this game. Play this game. I want another hat trick.
I think I honestly, like I asked Pat earlier, and it's true. Pep roulette is real, but I think that he plays Haaland in this game and starts tinkering later on. No, I'll go. Just to give you guys some scores, I'll do 2-0. I think it'll be more than that for City, but I don't know if Nottingham will get a goal, but they might. City has looked leaky.
Yeah, we look bad. Yeah,
Actually, you know what? Just for the sake of it, I'm gonna go 3-1. Just for the
Jesse Lingard.
yeah, something like that. Yeah, some storyline, some weird headline. Yeah. What do you guys think?
I'm saying 3-0 City.
Yeah, I think that defense, if he doesn't show up in here, I think Pep must be in their ears. You know what I mean? I think he must be blasting them already. I think that defense, somebody said that defense needs a kick and they need to kick up fast because where it's going right now, we're going to go to games where you need to keep a clean sheet and you need to be stable at the back. City were actually good at corners last season, defending corners, and that Anderson corner, nobody was marking him. And yet Pep said they discussed it all week, saying he's the threat, and everybody left him. So look, if we don't start, but I guess not in the Forest, then I don't know.
Yeah.
Trouble. Yeah, no. To be honest, if United were playing you guys right now, I wouldn't be confident we'd win, but I'm confident we score. With you know, just because we are like on our day. Besides Tottenham, they kind of took our space in the Premier League. But yeah, we're transition FC, or we at least know how to do it. So, cool. Let's go West Ham Spurs.
I think Spurs win this 2-1.
Spurs win this 2-1.
Yeah, I think Spurs win this 2-1.
I hope this is where West Ham wakes up because I think Spurs against a half decent team with finishes because Bowen can finish. You know what I mean? And that new guy from West Ham is also a finisher. I hope somebody opens or finally wakes these guys up because the football they're playing is atrocious. But what's going to happen? Because both of them counter. What's going to happen? Both of them play counter-attack football. What's going to be happening? They're going to just be sitting back, leaving the ball in the center of the pitch and waiting for the other guy to take it. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. But I think Spurs win because of Harry Kane and Son. But if it wasn't Harry Kane and Son, I think I would be looking at a draw game. But don't forget, West Ham away is also difficult. Remember, they make it very difficult. But I don't get this West Ham team. They haven't lost anybody at all. But they've just come with like poor like attitude and poor.
Yeah.
Someone needs to look at Declan Rice. Someone needs to check Declan Rice for me. See if he's okay. Is he actually playing?
Yeah. No, he's playing. He's been playing every game.
Oh, really?
Energy is so off at this moment. Yeah, I honestly don't know whether I can't trust West Ham to do anything right now. But I also think that this is kind of that moment because I've watched Spurs and people said, no, they've been playing well. Don't worry about it. They've been playing well because they're still getting results and they're being clinical. I don't think that that's necessarily the truth. I don't think they've been playing well whatsoever. I think the West Ham, this might be the wake-up call to kind of, give them a kick in the teeth or something and remind them that this is the Premier League. And it's not just about your performances. You can't rely on Harry Kane to scuff shots. Like scuff. Like pretty much every goal he's scored has been not lucky, but you're relying on Harry Kane. Kulusevski, great first game. Not great besides that. Son.
They're going to give them the ball, isn't it? West Ham is going to let them have the ball. This is what West Ham do. They'll let you have the ball. They're going to let them have the ball and counter them. So I would like to see Spurs getting counted and see how they're going to react.
There we go. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, so I mean, as far as this goes, I'm going to go West Ham 2-1 because I want to see Spurs get a kick up.
I'm also on the same boat. I also want them to get spanked. And I hope this is where West Ham wakes up and bring that form from last season. Which they almost upset Man City and they upset Liverpool. They beat Liverpool, remember? 4-3. So I hope they do that because I think away they're difficult. I think regardless even right now where they're shit, it's difficult to break them away. We broke them, but it took long before we could break them down. So let's see because I think Harry Kane is the key for these guys. Unfortunately, he can create, but before when he was just standing in front, I think that's where they struggled when the team sits back. I hope West Ham sit back, close all the windows, somebody man marks Harry Kane, and then trust me, that team will be in shit. But anyway, let's see. I just want West Ham to win 2-1 too, just for the sake of Spurs to
Patrick, you hate these guys after what they did to you last season.
I despise them.
It's terrorist football. It's so boring to watch.
Come on, Annie, man. It's bad. It's look. Do you know what they do? Oh, here is Luis. He's got the ball. Oh, throw it over to Kane. Kane drops back, looks up, hoof over the top. That's it. That's what they do.
We're here, and I know this, whether you have 20 people watching your streams, 100 people, 1,000 people, or 5 people, we spend our entire weekends watching football so that we can come on here and have discussions to at the very least entertain ourselves, if not other people. And we have to watch that. It just sucks, dude. No one wants to watch Spurs, dude. It's so boring to watch. I don't know. Andy, you already said, what was your score prediction? Annie, did we lose you? All right, I think we lost Annie. Let's move on. Liverpool, Newcastle. For me, I think Liverpool have the bit between their teeth. I think that they go ahead and do something here. I think.
If it was Newcastle away, I think so. I think it's because it's at the Anfield.
Yeah.
I think the fans won't let them, but I wouldn't be surprised if Newcastle have a plan, but it's at Anfield, so I think they will do something. But Newcastle, Dan was saying they're missing Bruno. I think that's a big miss if they're missing Bruno. It looks like most of the players they put effort in the City game. They ran more than City, and now they're getting injured. You see that? It's quite funny. It reminds me of what team went against us and they put everything in that game and then played a big team and then they were tired because they were how you strain yourself. Because Newcastle went over to the top. They went better than City. They went to put out. I don't know. We'll see. But Newcastle Isak is there. So
I don't think he's going to play though. And they're also missing St. Maximin, by the way. So that threat's going. Gamara is obviously.
But I think Liverpool have to be careful still because Eddie Howe is a coach that can actually do that high line. You know how they've got a high line, Liverpool? Because Colin Wilson can still go behind that high line and he's clinical. Yeah. So we'll see anyway. But I think Liverpool should beat them. If Liverpool struggle in this game, then we'll be like, you know what? They are in trouble. They are in so much trouble. But let's be honest, is Newcastle better than Fulham?
Yeah. Honestly, and Fabinho's back as well. I think he was in training at least. So no more Gomez. You have a little bit more security at the back. You can push Trent up a little bit higher. You don't have to play Milner and Henderson. I can see a 3-1 here. I can see a 3-1. But I also think Newcastle will give them a bit of a game. I know that they're missing certain people, but like you said, Wilson, even Almiron. He's not clinical, but he's got pace and he's a workhorse. So.
Oh yeah, him. Yeah, Wilson is good. Wilson was good at pressing. It's just that Bruno being there could have been a bit of hope because he can ping those balls over the top, right? He's a
he's
good
actually
passer.
seriously
But
making
now
it.
it's going to be Joe Linton, Longstaff. Giorgio Selvi he always plays good against Liverpool. He's injured. I don't know. I don't see anybody who's gonna ping those passes. We might be wrong, but the thing is, Liverpool's midfield and even Newcastle's midfield, Joe Linton. Joe Linton actually looks good of a baller in that midfield, and Liverpool's midfield is a bit so. But I still think they should still beat them. If they don't beat them, Jesse, I think we should start asking questions that maybe this Liverpool team is going towards its end if they
Yeah,
struggle
yeah.
against Newcastle.
I think if they don't beat them, especially if it doesn't really matter if City win, but if you do, as I expect you to, we need to start saying this is the end of a project, or they're coming near the end of a project, and that midfield needs to be completely revamped.
That
So
Milner thing has to stop. Like, I'm sorry, Liverpool fans, you love him, but that Milner behavior has to stop. So, do you know what? I know Milner is a guy who's very like he's always the healthy one apparently, but you could have kept Gini one Adam. I think Gini could have been better right now for you guys than Milner, because if you continue this behavior where Milner is the guy who has to come into your midfield, what if Fabinho gets injured and it's a game against Man City, United again, or Chelsea? Do you get my point? And you have to play Milner and Henderson and Elliott. I don't know. They're gonna have to fix up that midfield. I hear they're trying to get somebody from Sheffield United or something.
oh my god, Norgard or whatever. Yeah, no,
Hey,
like
if it's a game against Man City, Liverpool, they will be like, oh, no problem. I'll come to an agreement with Pep and everything will be fine. Yes, we might be boring to watch, boys. At least, you'll get a game. Until, at the end of the day, if
what's
it's like Liverpool and Manchester City, it will be like, oh, Pep, can I bend over for you? Oh, yes, Klopp, I'll bend over for you. And
I
both of them will fucking take it up the
I think
ass. And,
Anthony was
you
I
guys are
think Anthony
calling
was
us
triggered in
boring
the
to watch.
comments.
The most
don't,
exciting game that has happened this
remember.
season
I don't
was
remember.
He's
between
triggered.
Tottenham and Chelsea. We
I
might
don't
be
remember.
boring to watch.
I don't remember inviting
I think
a
he's triggered.
sensitive
He's triggered.
Chelsea fan into this
He's triggered.
stream.
He was triggered. He was triggered.
Jesus. Hey, what do you think
Yeah.
about the game then? What's your or Pat? Go ahead. Yeah.
By the way, I'm just joking, boys. I'm just joking. I know we are fucking boring to watch.
No, we weren't even talking about you. You just hopped in. You heard boring, and you're like, "That's my club." I gotta get it.
He came to defend them. No, but Anton. Let's be honest though. If Liverpool struggle with Newcastle, right, and because look, Bournemouth was the easy walk, because this is what Dan said, that sometimes some teams do a mature win. Like, let's say I saw Arsenal and City, they took the foot off the gas. I think they were like, you know what, let's just conserve for the next match. You know what I mean? But Liverpool, I think we're sort of in veins. We have to impress our fans. We have to make sure we make a statement. But if they struggle against Newcastle, we'll know that the issues are there. The issues are there because, to be honest with you, most of these teams, including my team, they don't look great defensively anymore. Jesse, you're right. City, Liverpool don't look solid as they used to be. They're not even controlling games as much as I think teams have found few places to hurt both these teams. So we'll see anyway. We'll see. I'm looking for a Liverpool win, but I have a feeling that this can be one of those things, Jesse,
It,
where
it
Newcastle score
definitely can
first and
be.
score too early.
It definitely can be. Like, just to add on Pat's point, Jess. Um, I like no, but like everybody was saying, no, it's going to be like a 2-0 win and things like that with regards to the Liverpool win against Bournemouth. I saw a 6-0 coming because I just thought they needed to do something or make a statement or do something from their side to make sure that people still take them seriously, and a big win would take them across. They have been getting drummed up by almost every team, Bournemouth, and I just didn't see anything. And because it just takes, Liverpool was still creating those chances. The problem was they weren't just putting it away. And in this game, they just happened to put it away because, even though I thought 6-0, I never thought they would score 9. However, they are not looking defensively sound at the moment. I think Matip is a big loss for that team. Joe Gomez he's a good defender, but he is not Joel Matip, if you know what I mean. And
He can
I
be
can
goated. Another thing is also the Elliott side. You know where it's Elliott and Trent,
Trent
and then sometimes he's not putting. You know that the secret to Liverpool is this: Henderson always
attack
has to
Trent.
be on the side of the side of Trent to cover for Trent when Trent goes in front. That has always been the formula. But if you put
Yeah.
Henderson as a DM, I knew they were going to lose because nobody's protecting Trent. So what are they going to do? They will attack Trent's side, and Trent can be in front. Oh, you have to. But now look, when Fabinho is there, I know Elliott is now playing that right hand side. That's why I'm saying if they play a half decent team and that team is attacking that side and Henderson is at the left, because the left side has no issue. There's Robertson and Van Dijk. But you go this side, you need
Robertson
Gomez and
hasn't been that
Trent.
great either, to be honest. Like Robertson is still, I don't know what is wrong with the defense that at Liverpool, because they used to be so solid. For some reason, it's it's pretty gettable at this moment. I don't know why that is. Maybe they might fix up. It is what it is. Then that's how
Yeah, but
football
I
works.
always tell you, Henderson always covers for Trent. He's always
Yeah,
covered for Trent. So
no,
if you
you're
take him away,
absolutely
because now,
right.
do you know what he wants? He wants Elliott that side because that's where Elliott is playing. So Elliott will
Hmm.
not cover for Trent. He's not as good as Henderson at covering. So I think that's what's the other issue. That's why I'm very happy with that Liverpool team because that's what I'm seeing where the weakness is. Because if nobody covers for Trent, it's either they are good at scoring, they outscore the other team. But if you don't outscore the other team, Anthony, all you have
Yeah,
to do is tell Raheem, like if you're playing them, you tell Raheem, continue attacking the Trent side. That's all
no,
they
you
have
are
to do.
right, Pat.
Continue trying
You
that
are
side. So
definitely You are definitely right, and I think I think David Nunez is back this game, or does he have one more game that he's
I think
out?
one more ban.
But like for an example, with Alan Sain, I think is Maximan is injured, isn't it?
Yeah, no, he is. Yeah, he's injured.
So that is going to be a big positive for Trent because he's not going to be troubled with some, with that guy because he's going to be very tricky for them. I see a Liverpool win, maybe a 1-0 or a 2-0 to be honest.
Yeah, I said 3-1. I think I'm being a little bit confident, but I don't have a whole lot of faith. I think a lot of Newcastle's defensive threat or their defensive stability will come from their ability to pin people back, basically, and not let them push up too high. In a moment, does go. I think Newcastle will probably score, but I think Liverpool easily get the job done. Let's go ahead and move on to Manchester United, Leicester versus Manchester United, real quick. Go ahead and finish this
Oh,
up.
yeah. Manchester United beating Leicester 4-0, bro.
4-0.
Yeah, Leicester is fucking ass.
They're bad. They're bad. It really depends for me who plays, and Leicester love to get up for Manchester United. They're one of our bogey teams, big time. I think I'm going to go.
I think the loss of James Madison is gonna be the biggest positive. That's why, even at Chelsea they didn't do much because of James Madison. He wasn't there, you know what I mean? So that's why I'm very confident for United.
I think that they can score because I think they can exploit us with Harvey Barnes. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go 2-1. I'm tentative to say 2-2 because I just have zero faith in United. I really do.
I have a lot more faith in United than you do, apparently.
I think you're gonna win 3-1. I think you're gonna win this game 3-1.
I think
So.
Casemiro starts. I think we win this game. I think we might win anyways, but if you guys actually watch the United game against Southampton, our biggest issue is nothing. It's not the defense. It's not the attack. It's the fact that we can't build through the lines because we have McTominay, who gives the ball away every single time he gets it. We have Bruno, who gives away the ball every time he has it. We have Alenga, who gives away the ball every time he has it. So you can say, well, like, you guys should have more possession. You guys should pin them back. The problem is we have three players there who automatically just give the ball away every time they have it. So it really depends on who you bring in. If you have Casemiro in there, great. We can afford Bruno if we had someone else, but we're not going to have like Anthony or anyone else who can recycle possession. Has banana skin written all over it, and that's the truth. It really is the truth for Manny. Like, it has it written all over it, but I mean, we're talking as United fans. I'm actually gonna go 2-2. You said 3-1. Yeah, so Pat went 3-1. What did you go?
I'm
3-1,
I'm still gonna go 4-0 just because I think United is gonna be up for it. I think what is going to happen is I think Casemiro is going to start, and I also believe that with Anthony coming into this United team and things like that, yes, he might not start, but the United team might be up for it just to show, be like, hey, dude, we are good. You know what I mean? We have something about ourselves, that there is confidence growing within that team, and I believe that's what's going to happen, and they're gonna score at least 4 goals, bro.
I'd love to be as optimistic as you are. Yeah, no, I hear you guys, and I do think if Casemiro starts, Casemiro, Eriksson, Fred is what I would go with, but we're not going to go with that. We're going to go with Casemiro, Eriksson, and Bruno, I believe. As Bruno scored a goal, so he hasn't really hung himself yet. But yeah, no, at the end of the day, it's kind of neither here nor there. The one thing I will say about United at this point in time is it's hard to call because we still don't know exactly what to expect from United. They're looking a bit better. They're looking defensively more solid and all that. Just real quick before we end here, thoughts on Osimhen Ronaldo swap? That's not happening. There's absolutely no way that. And by the way, for any United fans out there who don't think that this budget for Anthony isn't coming out of next summer's budget, you're sorely mistaken. This is next year's budget being spent right now.
Are you sure about that, Jess? Because I believe,
dude, I've been watching this club for 2 decades. I know how the Glazers work. Right. This is exactly how they work. This is coming out of next year's budget. So
wow. I never expected that. I thought, far out. I thought they were like, okay, we need to get the people on our side. Yep, let's give them what they want. Here. There you go. Anthony, here you go.
No, they want to take the pressure off themselves, take all of the credit, and then they'll just find a way down the line to take more money out of the club and pretend like they did the right thing once upon a time. It always works better if we win the Europa League or we get top.
Oh yeah, it's definitely gonna work if you win something this year.
Yeah. So it's just one of those. Like, I mean, dude, Annie and I, Josh, we all have our feet, knees, whatever on the neck of the Glazers. But lots of United fans will fall for it over and over and over again. So
I get it. However, I also want to remind you guys, I have put in a ban on United negativity for 5 days. Everybody who has to say something about United, it has to be something positive. I made sure Josh said only positive things yesterday.
You don't get to do that. You don't get to do that. What's that, Patrick? You got something to say there before we end?
No, I don't. I just feel like you guys are going to win the game. I think you guys will go on as long as you keep Maguire and Luke Shaw out of that defense. I'm pretty sure you'll be solid. All you have to pray for is make sure that Malacia, any of the back four, is not going to be injured. Like I said, I'll rather play Lindelof if things are getting, because right now you have to rotate. I'm pretty sure it's going to rotate. Fair play on Anthony, man. I'm not a hater. I know people are hating when we bought Jack for 100. I don't hate on people's money, man. The only reason why I like exposing Chelsea for its flops and whatever, because Chelsea fans like pointing fingers at other clubs. Not Anthony, obviously, but I'm pretty sure other Chelsea fans, trust me, they like pointing fingers. So I try to also expose them that they like sweeping underneath the flops. Today they just Barkley just was taught to go for free. Bakayoko was swept too. Drinkwater was swept for free. So anyway, guys, I'm happy that you guys are spending. I want teams to be competitive. We've laughed at you enough. I think we've laughed at you enough. And I'll be happy for Ten Hag. As I said, I wanted him at City. So I'll be happy for Ten Hag if he finds the right way. I think the players he's buying work for him. I think what's going to happen is the other players will be so embarrassed watching the other players working so hard. They will work hard themselves. And Eriksson is actually great because that pass was amazing. And you do need Eriksson. I think you need to keep him fit because Bruno, as much as he might be your goal scorer, I think Eriksson will actually be the guy who breaks those teams that sit back. I think you're going to beat Leicester City because Leicester look like they have no hope. But again, as we say, you never know, guys. What I'm worried about with these midweek games is Bournemouth might be the one coming out shining. There's always a storyline. Nottingham Forest might have the first dunk against City and disappoint us. You find Leicester City will bring back their form against Man United. There's always these silly stories. Aston Villa from nowhere will click against Arsenal. It's always these midweek games that these silly things always happen. I hope they don't, though. I hope it only happens to Chelsea.
By the way, has anybody spoken about Arsenal and how they're going to win the league?
No. But
No.
we'll cover that on Wednesday after they inevitably win their.
That needs to be a special show for the champions elect, you know?
Yeah, that'll be we'll be going live right after that, anyways. But anyways, guys, let's go ahead and finish up the stream here. Make sure to go ahead and like and subscribe. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Annie, Josh. Obviously, Dan had to run off somewhere. Still not sure where he went. Pat, obviously, make sure to go down to the description and the title. We have Pat's channel in the title, and we also have Football and Chill's new podcast in the description. Whether you're watching right now or you're watching this on playback, make sure you go ahead and follow all of those and anyone else who's been involved here now. Yeah. Have a good week. We'll be back on Wednesday. Anthony, did you have a what's your next show on the channel?
So it's actually Tuesday for me today, right now. So what we are going to do is in the evening today, which would be Tuesday morning for everyone else, we will be doing our FPL show for the midweek. I think it's a must, and we need to get our predictions going because we have this little competition going amongst 3 or 4 of us, and it's actually tied between Twisted and myself for the prediction. So yeah,
It's rigged.
It's not. How you were predicting 6-0 for some random team against Chelsea, and you're calling.
I didn't predict what's his name to beat you, Leeds. I said Leeds are gonna beat you.
Yeah, but you got 1 out of 10 right. How are you expect to win?
Because I like agendas, and I always hope agendas come true.
And
I'm running agendas all the time.
What time is that going to be at?
So that will be at 11 a.m. for everybody else in the UK, and it will be at 8 p.m. for the guys who are in Australia, guys and girls who are in Australia. But yeah, if anyone else is free, anybody who wants to join in, who is even watching the playback, please hop on. You can jump in anytime.
Sweet. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your evening or morning or whatever it may be, and yeah, we'll catch you guys on Wednesday, Thursday, whatever it may be. Cheers.